Yes! Friends, 3 days. It is February 19th, 2022, Virtual Strangers, episode 177. Hello, my name is Wes. I'll be your host. And with me, as always, or as sometimes, my good friend Eric. What's up, Eric?
What's going on, fellas? How we doing tonight?
I am doing much better now. Like you, I was a little bit nervous for a little while, and then I found myself in a familiar situation, checking my email every 5 minutes. But lo and behold, at last, a couple of days ago, I think Friday, 2 days ago, Friday afternoon, or Friday night actually, I got the notice. Go to sleep, Wes. It's going to be all right. What say you, Eric? You still waiting for some word from Sony?
Yeah, I'm completely screwed.
What?
Completely screwed. Yeah. I like you guys, or like a lot of people on Wednesday last week, like right in the middle of our show, Strangers in the Night, I got the notice that, yep, we're taking your money because you're about to ship. So they took my money from my account and they put it in a pending hold, right? Until they print the shipping label and then they take the money completely. So it's been pending all week and I have not gotten that email that says you're shipping or you're ready to ship or it's already shipped or whatever the email says. So I've been waiting for it. In the middle of my live stream last night, I've been just kind of like every once in a while just popping into my account to see if the money is still pending. I'm like, 'cause I've been waiting for them to actually take it because that's going to give me an indicator that it's shipping. Well, now the money's not pending anymore, and they put all the money back into my account.
Oh God, no!
Bad sign.
So it doesn't say anything. Like I didn't get anything from Sony that says anything. I look at my order from Sony, and it still says it's there and it's still shipping, but it doesn't. But they didn't take the money, and my bank didn't say, "Hey, we turned this thing down," or Sony didn't say we turned it down. So this morning, when I got done streaming, about 4:00 this morning, reordered my PlayStation VR 2 through my PayPal this time, and they took the money right away. But I have no idea have no idea if I'm getting two, if I'm getting one, or if I'm getting none on the 22nd.
How crazy would it be if you got your other one, but you just didn't have to pay for it somehow?
That would be okay. That would make this all worth it. That would make this all worth it. But yeah, I don't know what the hell, man. I don't believe I'll probably be getting it on the 22nd now, most likely.
And of course, everyone say hello to my good friend Ruuts. Ruuts, I almost feel bad now, bro, because if you'll switch to the intro background, I don't know, man. But maybe I don't have to feel bad. Did you not get it? That would be great if you didn't get it.
The intro background? Oh, yeah, I didn't even get it.
Don't do it. Ixnay on the background bay. All right.
I didn't even see that for some reason. I skipped right over. I was rushing to get everything done, eat lunch, and didn't see it.
Well, the good news is that that was from your account, Ruuts. So these problems that Eric is dealing with, we're legitimately better than him.
Oh
no!
Yes.
You guys have both got your shipping.
This man legitimately thinks that he is better than us.
I don't think that we're better than Eric. I know that we are. No, just kidding.
Well, you are now for sure.
I do say that. Well, see, that's the thing I was going to ask you because I was like, I don't even know, man. Like, I didn't have access to any email, so I've just kind of was like, I hope, crossing fingers, 22nd. Well, I'm going to put out there, Eric, your PlayStation VR 2 is going to get there on the 22nd. Like D-Rail said, they don't ship out to the day before, and so if they took that money out, you're good. You're good. I mean, you're Mash Daddy cool, man. Mash Daddy. Cool.
Can you imagine, Eric, a scenario where Ruuts and friggin' Todd even has one before you?
Oh my God. Thank God for Ghost of Tabor. I can just like go in.
I was actually
That's
debating.
true.
I was like, man, maybe I could come in and I could join Mash's stream last night. And then I thought, I don't have Ghost of Tabor. I've been waiting for it.
I know. Well, I'm working on it.
Well, the good news is it comes out next week. I can just get the alpha.
Yeah,
So
yeah, late next, not this coming week. I don't think we'll see it, but I think either late this coming week or the following week, you'll see it go out for everybody. But yeah, I'm doing my best to get everybody, or you guys at least, you and T, you guys and D access.
You know who else puts out for everybody?
My mom.
oh yeah, she does.
She's always an open alpha.
Yeah, she's the ultimate open alpha.
The ultimate open.
Spry Guy says Sony heard Eric has a Quest 2 channel. No PSVR 2 for you.
That could be like we're just taking your order, bud.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we'll take your money. And we'll
I
run.
mean, I'm just hopeful that, like, I don't think they operate on the weekends. Like, if you look at their business hours are like Monday through Friday. I'm just hopeful they don't update anything until like Monday. You know what I mean? I'll get some kind of update on Monday.
You know, on a lighter note, this past week worked out very well for my good friend and co-host Miles, as Sony actually sent him one early. So, like, the Without Parole cast didn't get completely snubbed. Of course, the one of us that lives overseas in the EU did in fact get one early. So kudos to Sony for recognizing and at least giving us some access in that regard.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I saw he had posted on Twitter like a few days before that he didn't get one, and apparently Sony must have seen it. So
showed up the day before his birthday. So he literally waited to open it. He went to bed and got up the next day and opened it, and
that's crazy.
Had a little.
There's no way.
Had a little conversation with him, and obviously he's on cloud 9 right now, right? Playing through all this stuff, because Miles, unlike us, unlike any of us, he hasn't been doing VR content for 4 years. Like, he had a PSVR 1, which he played a moderate amount, but that's it. Like, that's his entire VR experience.
Wow.
This is like it's like the first time all over again for him.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's exciting, Eric. I know it's going to work out for you one way or the other, brother. You're Eric. You'll make it happen one way or the other. And if worst comes to worst, you could always just fly to Kentucky and hang out with your boy Weasel here.
I should do that. You should get 2 of them, and then we can go there and we can hang out. I can play one there. And
I thought about it. Like, if I could afford it, I probably would, because I have the PlayStations already. Like, I just need to get the other headset, right?
I know. Then we have 2 controllers. Then we have 4 controllers too.
I'll tell you the day that I order my second one, and I already know how it's going to go down. It's the day that Firewall Ultra comes out. That'll be the day that my wife gets in there and sees it and is like, "Oh no, we got to have another one of these."
That's going to be rough though. But well, you said you already got your second PlayStation 5, right? So you just need the headset. But
that's right.
If you're in a household where you only have one PlayStation 5, that's going to get costly.
Here's the cool thing: is the kids got that digital edition for Christmas.
Oh yeah.
And but a lot of the games that they've been playing, stuff from GameFly, physical copies. So what I basically did is, the day after Christmas, I just pulled my console out of my bedroom and put it in the living room for them to play. So I've got a brand new PlayStation 5 here in the box. I still haven't taken it out of the box. So not only is my headset going to be new, my console is going to be brand new. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to Wednesday.
Hell yeah, dude.
Is it a Pro? No, just kidding.
I am.
People were talking about that in the Discord about the PS5 Pro and when that was going to come out. Derail says probably 2024.
There's rumors that they're going to announce it this summer.
Yeah.
Which would make sense, man. I mean, we're in the 3rd year now of PlayStation 5. It doesn't seem like it because they're only now coming into stock. But in November, this is going to be a 3-year-old console.
How crazy and crappy is that?
Can't believe that.
For so long, dude, I did legitimately think I was better than other people, because I would tell them I had a PS5 and they would be like, "Oh man, like I wish I could find one." And I felt like I was like special or something for a little bit. Yeah. And then everyone gets them now. So.
How dare they?
I know, right? How dare they? Skiva says, Wes set it up so it's ready to hop into. I absolutely am going to do that. So Wednesday, I expect the headset to be here, but my days off are Tuesday, Wednesday. Guess what I'm doing Tuesday? I'm going to rip out my whole TV and like this whole shelf that I've got my PC and all this stuff on. I'm going to rip it out, clean it real good, and then put it back together with a brand new PS5 integrated into it.
I got to get myself ready to because this is my instinct. I get my PlayStation VR 2 on, and then I stand in the middle of my play space. I put my arms out, and then I just start spinning around in a circle, and then hope I don't get tied up in the cords, because that's what everyone feels like. Like, man, you're going to get tangled up in the cords. Like, how the fuck are you going to get tangled up in the cords? Like, this is 2016. Like, I know how to operate. It's weird how people act like the cord is such a big deal, and I'm glad the cord exists, and it's a good thing.
So our friend Brad's in the chat. He says the guy that leaked it said it's not going to be more powerful. They just want to standardize the digital and physical SKUs. So I know what you're talking about, Brad. You're talking about the upcoming PlayStation version that supposedly has a external disk drive on it. So it's optional. You can either use it with the disk drive or without it. I don't think they're going to call that the Pro, though. I think that they're going to call that PS5 Slim. They always do a Slim version of the console that's a lot more efficient with regards to space. I think that console will be called Slim. I don't know, man. I don't know if they would. See, here's the thing. Like PS5, I mean, it's not like it's completely outdated yet. Like, it still has a lot of life in it. And I think if I were them, it might make a little more sense to kind of go the Xbox route. If you're going to do a more powerful console, wait 2 years and call it PlayStation 6, but make it completely backward compatible with everything PS5 does. I think that makes a little more sense.
Yeah, I agree. Gary Immersed Robot says the cord is not a good thing in his opinion. It's a necessity, but then I'm famously a cord hater. The reason why I'm glad, Gary, that it's there is because I want the fidelity. I want the AAA graphics. And I just don't think they would have existed if it weren't there, if it wasn't there, at least not at this point. And so when, for what we want, it has to exist. But yeah, I mean, it'd be better to be wireless. But if I'm being honest, I can't remember the last time I played any VR that was wireless. My Quest is continually plugged in all the time with my cord. I don't ever go wireless. And that just doesn't bother me anyway.
You know what, Ruuts, there's a lot that's been said about this cable. In about 3 weeks, when the PC crowd has it hacked and working on the PC, everyone's going to love that fucking cable.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be the best cable ever. Dude, how crazy is that going to be if because it seems like it's possible, that it's going to play on the PlayStation or PC, at least from what I was reading. So I think that's really cool. So.
The cable is all, it depends on your situation too. Like if you're thinking about you're going to be in the middle of your living room hooked up to your TV in front of a PlayStation 5, I could see where it can be a pain in the ass to have the cable. Like, everybody's setup is different. Like my setup, I have it I use a cable management system that I can keep up all the time because it's not like in the middle of my living room. You know what I mean? And so I have the pulleys on the ceiling. I just take the wires down when I'm done. But if you keep that wire over your main middle of your play space, like directly over your head, like you'll never get tangled. If you do those, if you like Kiwi or AMVR, any of those ones that make these $30 cable management systems, there's certain ways you set these things up so you can have the wire directly above your play space and you take the slack out of it. Even if you turn or twist or anything, you'll never get that cord wrapped around you, your head, your headset, anything like that. Like if you just take a look at my ceiling, like right there. That is a cable management system, and that's a 3-point system that keeps it directly above my play space. So it's always above my head. So even if I spin 360, it's not going to get wrapped around me, around my feet, around my headset, nothing. Now I understand not everybody can do that in their play space. Guys, there's ways around things. You just have to work with it if you want to make it work.
Ruuts, Eric has pyramids on his ceiling, man.
I do. Did you see my Illuminati stuff?
Yeah, he's going to start doing the pyramid signs. I heard he's 33 years old, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy 33rd. Happy birthday, Spry Guy.
Yeah, Spry, happy birthday.
Nice. Walkabout mini golf later.
I'm waiting. I'm not playing Walkabout again until I got my PS5.
Oh, yeah.
VR. That was one of the announcements this week. I didn't include it in today's headlines because we have so much other stuff we're going to talk about, and we've talked about Walkabout a lot lately. But how about it, Roots? How many times have we said, why is this not coming to PlayStation VR? Well, guess what? It's coming to PlayStation.
There's a lot of people excited, and it's probably, I don't know, to me, that's one of the most exciting things that has been announced recently because it's such a good game.
Yeah, man. It seems like, and it seems like every day there's another game that gets announced. Every day. So it's going to be good for everybody. There's going to be something there for people who like multiplayer. There's going to be something there for people who like first person shooters. I mean, there's a little something for everybody. If you like garbage, there's going to be plenty of that too. And you know what? Never mind. I was going to say something, but I don't want to, break anybody's embargo or anything. But I'm not going to say anything. But I heard through the grapevine, Eric, that maybe your What the Bat review wasn't quite 100% fair.
Yeah, it could be the best game ever.
No. That was game of the year.
Maybe it is. Maybe I played about 2.5, 3 hours. Maybe I need to play like 6.
That's what I told
maybe
you.
Like 6 or 7 before it really gets good.
You got to give.
Well, I'm glad you feel that way because guess what you're going to do on Wednesday, Mister? I want to be the one that plays the games. Guess what you're going to do?
Hey, I'll tell you what. If you could guarantee me right now that I will actually get a PlayStation on Wednesday, I'd fucking play that game.
That's true.
There you go.
He might
I
not get
it. I guarantee it. There you go.
I'll call it right now. I have the key, man. If I get lucky, if you give me a PlayStation on Wednesday, PlayStation VR 2, I'll play What the Bat. Promise. Swear to God.
So Wolfie says, not about you, Roots, or anyone that is used to VR. It's important people that are going to tell everyone what they think of the new VR experience, and if they kill PS5s, we have issues. Well, people are. I read what you said in the Discord, Wolfie, and I think there are going to be people that will yank their PlayStation 5 because there's people that run into walls. I just watched somebody punching their fucking TV because of the Super Bowl loss because their team lost.
Oh my God.
There's people out there that are unhinged that are gonna do it, and they're gonna run with it, and the PlayStation 5 is gonna go flying. But that's gonna be a small minority of people. I don't think people are gonna be, systematically tearing their PlayStation 5s off their coffee tables. But it will happen. I mean, there are people out there that just don't treat their stuff well, and of course they're gonna ruin it.
I'm just going to use an extension. I'm just going to use a USB-C extension, and on the off chance that I run 30 feet away from my PlayStation, it'll just snap in half, and I'll have to plug it back in.
Well, the reality is those cords are long too, right? It's not like it's a short cord, or at least the old one wasn't that short, right? So
4.5 meters, I think. So it's a little shorter than like the Rift S cable, but the Rift S cable is pretty long. So, at any rate, lots to be excited for this week, as we're about to talk about in some detail. But before we do that, we do need to say hello to our friends in chat. We didn't do it Wednesday, Roots. We were so late getting everything lined out with our technical issues. We just ran straight into the gameplay and never said hello to the chat.
I didn't even question it because we had Eddie there and we needed to get going.
By the way, shout out Eddie. What an awesome episode that we had on Wednesday, showing off the Light Brigade to a lot of people. We sold a few copies too, man. We're even getting comments like after the fact, people pre-ordering that game, which is awesome. You all should pre-order the Light Brigade now. It's an awesome game. And besides that, you're going to save money if you pre-order it. 15% on PlayStation, save 10% on Quest. So
I'll say a shout out to Eddie for being so cool too. It's not every time that you meet somebody and you actually realize, hey, this guy's pretty cool. He was a good guy. It was a good interview.
Yeah, and he fit right in too when the mom jokes started flying and. I started asking him about his prior drug use. He went with the flow and fit right in. Anyway, let's say hello to our friends in chat. Funky Sloth is here. I saw Funky Sloth on another channel earlier today making mom jokes in the chat, and that's when I realized, Eric, that I have made an impact on this industry, on this space. Long after I'm gone, dude, people are still going to be telling mom jokes.
You've killed it. You've killed it for everybody now. Everybody has to like Skiva says all the time. He's like, Wes has just ruined it for everybody. Everybody like even my channel is like Todd has the drop. He had to put the drop in because you can't get away from it. And like it's like you don't even think about it anymore, right? Like I don't even have to go look for them now. They just seem to fall in your lap. You know who else likes it when you fall in your lap?
My mom.
Yeah, she does. I need to figure out why it doesn't go through on. Actually, I kind of think when I hook up to CruCast next time, I'm gonna look at my audio source and make sure it's going through my right source because I don't think it's. I don't think that's why it's not going through my mic. It's supposed to go through my microphone. That's why it's not going through. So.
By the way, another banger CruCast scheduled for tomorrow, as we're going to have the trying to think of his title, the game director for Switchback VR is going to be on with us talking about Switchback VR. Might even be able to squeeze some Rush of Blood questions in there as well, although I'm not quite sure what his role was on that. But Alejandro from Supermassive Games is going to be joining us. Be sure to tune in. I did put a link in the description down below for the VR CruCast. It's going to be an epic episode. Make sure you don't miss it.
Show's coming into its own, man. The show's getting better and better every week.
Yeah, I think we had our best episode last week. For real.
I agree.
Like
I think the numbers show it too.
I was super proud of it. I was super proud of it when we were done. I was sharing it with people. Like, man, watch this. It's really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, Hussein X is here. All You Are is History is here. SUFC Ash is here. Bluebell's here. What's up? D's in the chat. Old Darth is here as well. Techno Glitch is here. Je ne sais quoi. Gary, Immersive Robots here. Good to see you, friend. Flame Hat, the Game Hat. What's up, friend? Mickey Barrios is here. Space Denison is here. Bad Robo, what up, friend? Good to see you. Mind Jive is here. Timmer 95 is here. Herb, the 24/7 Game Cat, said I pre-ordered because of the cut of Eddie Lee's jib.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I can see that. Actually, how do you not, Ruuts?
Yeah, for real.
What is the cut of someone's jib? Do we know what that is?
That's
just pretty much you impressed with.
I've
the
always
person.
wondered about that. I just don't know what that means.
Well, let's
look it up.
Can we?
Let's take it to
we,
the magic. The magic of the
Wait, don't take it to Google. To chat GPT.
GPT.
You might get some kind of a weird thing, but
cut of your jib etymology. Tell us.
It's got to be something with sailors, I assume, right? Like a jib is like something. Like I remember from that freaking fantastic game Marineverse, because I had to go to school to play it. That the jib is a part of of a ship, a sailing boat.
Did you pass the test though? That's a question.
No, I didn't. No.
Oh man, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Oh man.
From maritime traditions, alluding to the identification of far-off ships by the shape of their sails, as in the Naval Chronicles from 1805.
Ooh. Old Dar says it's the way one handles themselves.
Wow.
You know who loves to handle themselves?
My mom.
No, not just themselves, but
I like the cut of her jib.
oh yeah.
That's what I hear. That's what I hear. What's up? Awesome Tatum. Tatum's in the chat. IA says, guys, do you know of any surprise game to PSVR 2?
Surprise.
If we told you, then it wouldn't be a surprise.
That's right. That's right. And we get people in trouble.
London Rhodes says hello. Hello, London Rhodes. Thomas McNostril is here as well. ET2K9.now. What's up? Ion7 is here. He says, hell, people still hurt themselves with Quest being untethered. That's right. At least the tether kind of keeps you in a little space. When you're completely untethered, you could run out in the middle of the road.
It does. The tether actually does kind of remind you that you're in VR a little bit.
Yeah, a little. Ape or AppJ, as we like to say, is here as well. PD, did we say hi to PD? What's up, PD? Good to see you in the chat, friend.
Bluebell 999 super chat says, "Thank you all for your hard work. Wes, as always, your notes are awesome. They are awesome.
They are awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, there was a lot. There was a lot in there today because the games we picked today to feature, we picked for a reason, as you're going to see in a few minutes. But there was a lot of news that fell to the wayside because of that. News on Jupiter God. I mean, there was news on what's that game that just recent the like super hot clone with archery.
I know which one you mean, but I don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, we got a release date on that.
I saw somebody posting on that, and it was not kind to what they said. They were basically saying that they should not be equating that with super hot, that it is not super hot, and that the hands, I thought maybe it was GT that posted, the hands looked all shaky in the video.
And, it was GT. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
And it was not, they need to go back into super hot and see why that game was so good, is basically what he said.
See, this is what happens when you put Gamertag VR on your car and in your game. Ungrateful. You know who's not ungrateful about stuff like that? Virtual strangers. Just saying.
And my mom.
Yeah, and my mom. I was gonna hit that, but
so I don't know the name, but it looks like Suff C Ash, SUFC Ash. They said, Eric, what pulley system do you have, and can it be mounted without screws? And technically said this earlier, said you can't do it if you live in an apartment. I don't know if you guys can see these, and I'll see if I can zoom them in. That is a Kiwi system.
Why can you not do it if you live in an apartment?
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, Eric's messing things up, bro. Thanks, Tech.
But yeah, if you saw it before it went out, those are basically sticky pads, so you don't screw into your ceiling at all.
See, that's what happens when you start flashing Illuminati signs to Eric.
I know, right?
It actually looks like a flex capacitor to me.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like to me. I thought Eric was gonna like 88 miles an hour and disappear.
How great would that be?
That would be cool.
Give me a second, guys. I'll fix this. But yeah, don't do that ever again, Eric.
Brucey, No Shits Game Cat. What up? Good to see you.
There we go.
Who else is here? Brad. I think we already said hello to Brad. Already said happy birthday to Spry Guy. Secrets of. Hello. Mepper. What's up, Mepper? Good to see you. Mepper. One of our winners of Wanderer finally got his game key this past week.
Nice. I need to get back into that, but now I'm reluctant to go into it in the.
I would wait.
I don't want to slum it in PC VR. I want to go into the PC VR or PSVR 2 version.
Herb the 24/7 Game Cat. What up? What's up, Ryan Brandon in the chat. Solo board gaming night. He says, at this point, my excitement level is through the roof. I really hope everyone enjoys their PSVR 2 when it arrives. I'm sure that they will. Everyone except for Eric.
Oh, man.
What if we
said anything? What if we said anything to anybody? I should be crying by myself.
What if there's like some kind of like we go to war on Tuesday, and it's like
don't even say that, bro.
Well, that would make me feel a little better then, because nobody would get it. The selfish part of me would be like, all right, thank God.
We'll see is here. Do we expect any shock PlayStation announcements tomorrow, Tuesday? I don't know exactly when it's going to happen. I do expect a first party showcase at some point in the near future. I have heard, as you all have, that there are going to be new games revealed this week. So it very well could be this week. But yes, there are plenty of surprises left in store. I assure you.
Yep.
Varglesoft is here. What's up? Daniel Kaz is here.
PD's got a 2 pound super chat. Says, you know who else likes to be screwed and mounted?
My mom.
Oh yeah, she does.
See, now she's busy.
She's busy, dude.
You know who else likes to be pounded?
My mom.
Decepticon's here.
Oh, man.
Annoyingly unknowable is here. I love the air feels dense with excitement. That's true. I can feel everyone's excitement. You know who loves to feel people's excitement?
My mom.
Do you guys think this same excitement will be for when Quest 3 comes, or do you think it's just super hype now because it's PlayStation VR 2 and it's been 6 years since they had another
It
console
won't be
for
the
PlayStation?
same. The reason why I mean, of course, we're going AAA, and I think it'll be a big excitement. Don't get me wrong, but like everything is changing for all the, especially for PlayStation VR 1 players, right? Like real controllers, actual tracking, like that's a big deal. Like this is what they've been watching everybody else have for how many years, and now they finally get the best version of it. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I think that there will be a lot of excitement for Quest 3. I think it'll be very comparable to when they announced Quest 2. If you'll remember, there was a lot of excitement around that.
Yep.
I don't think it'll be the same. And the reason why, not only is it a return to high-end VR gaming for all of us gaming enthusiasts, not only is it the next generation of PlayStation VR, this is a launch that we've been speculating heavily about for over 2 years.
Right.
And there's just no way to build that kind of hype in 6 months. So
Yeah.
I think the only way it could do it is if they start the hype train now and they start releasing specs here and there, and this being a next gen 2 XR2 chip, next gen XR2 chip, and if the specs like pan out, I mean, I think it could build to close. Like I said, I don't think it would ever get there just because of the delay of the PlayStation VR 2 and how much anticipated it's been and been building for so long. But I mean, this truly could be next gen standalone with that nobody else is doing right now. So this will be the first one out. So I think it could be close. It depends on how they do it. You know what I mean? If they do it like remember when they launched the Quest, all the commercials they did, like if they did it right, they could get close. I bet.
What if they release it with GTA?
that's
San
what
Andreas.
exactly what I was about to say. If
That
they
would
start
rival
rolling,
it. It would do. Yeah.
Yeah, if they start rolling their titles out, start talking about Grand Theft Auto, start talking about Assassin's Creed, all this stuff that they've been working on in the background, they have for all we talk about how Meta doesn't, or is kind of getting away from gaming lately, they have a hell of a stable of studios making games right now.
Oh yeah.
And we don't know what any of it is yet.
Distracted says, I will probably sell all my consoles that aren't VR and get a Quest 3. To be honest, I don't want to play flat anymore. I'm over it. I can't be over flat. I cannot be over flat until VR starts getting real titles. Like the best games that I've played this last year are all flat games. Now, granted, some of them have been brought into VR by mods, but it's like the flat games are way up here in content and the VR games are fucking like this far off the ground. And so until the content even gets close, there's no way I could quit playing flat. There's no way. So,
but I will say this about Quest 3 Ruuts. It has the potential with this pass-through, this mixed reality, this augmented reality, to revolutionize the VR film industry. It's going to be able to put people in your bedroom, Ruuts. Think about that.
Oh man, who doesn't want people in your bedroom? I saw something where I don't know what it was, but it was something where, and I think it might have even been flat. I'm not exactly sure, but it was like somebody's face that was superimposed over a basketball player, and they were like, it was they were seeing themselves dunk in the basket. It was really weird. You know how they're with deep fake and stuff, and I thought that was pretty weird. Can you imagine like playing an NBA game, but you're in the game I mean, that's just weird to me. I don't know.
There's going to be lots of that sort of thing over the next couple of years as Meta. This is going to be the big push of the next gen of the Meta, the Meta hardware. So I expect to see a lot of stuff like that in like 2024.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mark W, what up? Sim is here. What up? Predvididal 1. 3 days remaining. Absolutely. Derail. This is how exciting this launch is. Ruuts. Derail's in the chat.
Already. I know. Well, and he's going to be, like he was saying, he's going to be, that hardware leads channel is going to be filling up pretty soon here.
Will you guys get a Pro? Would you, if it is better, like if it is like this, like going from the regular 4 to the Pro, would you guys get one or think about it?
I'm sure it will. It's somewhere down the road.
Yeah, if it's like that, yeah.
Do we
More
think
power.
it's going to be that? I mean, I know Brad was saying it's not going to be that, but if it is,
I think if they call it the Pro, then it will be something similar to that. I don't think it'll be. Well, I don't know.
I've never
So-
understood getting the Slim. Like I would rather have a beefier version that's not packed into a tighter case that has potential to overheat, and like if it's the same hardware, I don't give a fuck about how much space I'm saving. That's such a weird thing to me to worry about. But I don't know.
Wolveraza, Destiny 11 is here as well. Shapeshifter, the Amorphous Game Cat is here from the Netherlands. Thank you for joining us. Black Market Honey joining us. Skiva, our good friend Skiva. Good to see you, friend. See you tomorrow.
Skiva, how come? Can you get me into this Ghosts of Tabor game that Mash can't get me into?
Yeah, he's the one I've been going to trying to get you guys in. So yeah, we need to talk to him.
I need to get in there. Like we were talking to Jim Hall about it the other day, Mash, on my stream, and somebody said something about it, and they were like, he's like, is that really a thing? And I said, yeah, Jim. Mash specifically said this isn't like Tarkov, like the best version we can get. And he said this is pretty much Tarkov in VR. So
it is. It's damn good, man. It's scary that it's so fucking good, and this is still alpha. You know what I mean? Like it's closed alpha. We're not even in open alpha or beta. This is still early alpha, closed alpha, and when they just did a major patch, and the game is so much different now than it was just a week. I've got almost 60 hours in this game already, guys. I just started playing it for the first time like a week and a half ago.
That's crazy. Yeah,
I do. Well, you were saying, Ruuts, like you don't want to give up flat gaming, and because VR's not there yet. This, like, I'll be honest, I was playing Warzone flat a little bit. Me and Todd, and even a few of the others, where I was playing some Warzone when it came out, Warzone 2, and I was into it, and I haven't touched it since Tabor, because to me, I'd rather play in VR, and Tabor is one of the best things I've ever done. So I don't see myself playing anything flat for a while.
I have to. I've got 2 raiding characters.
I know.
I have to raid.
World of Warcraft. When's that coming? Then in VR, then you'll never leave.
Well, I was thinking about how you could heal with eye tracking. This is how my mind's been going. I'm thinking, okay, because I would still need to have raid frames to be able to be as a healer, and maybe I just look at the person I want to heal, or the person's name or whatever, and it lights up, and then I hit my heal, or I don't know. It'd be cool.
I like it.
Yeah.
Hawk 107 in the chat. Virtual Waypoint is in the chat. And scrolling, still going.
I know, and I keep interrupting you. I guess to get off this, stop asking questions.
It's all good. This is what we do. I'm just seeing a lot of the same names, except for Looper, the Underground Game Cat. What's up, Looper? Sajoba is here as well. Hello. Wolveraza, Steve Morales, Alakazam, Xavier. Hello. Berber Cat is here as well. What's up, Berber Cat? Nanook says Westmeister. What's up? What's up, Nanook? Max is here. Rondo is here, and that is as far as I can scroll. So
Chris Richardson
hello,
just dropped
everybody.
in and said, "I'm back." Well, welcome back, Chris Richardson. How you been?
Oh, hell yeah.
Good to see you. Visor Republic here as well. Says WoW in VR would be my dream, and that and the RE1 VR remake. I know it's about time we get that RE1 remake. I mean,
I
come
would
on.
assume they got to be all coming, right? I mean, it would only make sense they could just start remaking all these classic games in VR.
Yeah.
Michael Grant says, "Damn, I need a better YouTube name." Yeah. It's all good, man. Michael Grant's an amazing name. What's up, Michelle B? Michelle B's here as well. Josh Taylor's here. Tasty the dog's here. I'm gonna have to stop this at some point, Ruuts. Simplex is here. The Game Cat Cowboy Dan. 2 days to go. I know, right? All right. So if I missed you, I apologize. Welcome all. Thank you for hanging out with us this fine Sunday evening. We have lots of cool stuff to talk about. So why don't we just do just that?
to be a contractor? According to your reputation, you have the right skills for the job. If you're interested, the risk is high, but so is the reward. We have multiple contracts, from solo intel gathering to team strike force operations. Locations are hot, and you were never there. If you're compromised, you're on your own. Are you ready?
PlayStation.
Firewall Ultra releases this year. New contractor details and eye tracking gameplay. This from Harry Baker at Upload VR. First Contact Entertainment, the studio known for Firewall, Zero Hour, and Solaris, Off-World Combat, confirmed that Firewall Ultra will release this year for PSVR 2, alongside some new looks at the game and details of a new contractor called Havoc. The confirmation of a 2023 release is hardly a surprise, but it's nonetheless nice to have it locked down. First Contact Entertainment also revealed new key art for the game, picture below, which includes a redesign for existing contractors and a first look at the game's new contractor, Havoc. Here's a description of what to expect from Havoc, straight from First Contact. Havoc joins the fray in Firewall Ultra as a brand new contractor. With a background as a dedicated former elite military operative, he is well trained, well conditioned, and well equipped to get the job done, despite his cocky attitude. He was kicked out of a program after a big disagreement with a superior and is now looking to make a name for himself in the world of private contracting. In Firewall Ultra, his conditioned skill increases his resistance to bullet damage and deploys a mine once he's been eliminated from battle. So here we are, Ruuts, with a new contractor. It's interesting because these abilities that Havoc has, the condition skill and deploying a mine when he's eliminated for battle, that specific ability was something in the first game that you had to work at a long time to kind of unlock. Not the case now. You're going to be able out the box to have that the ability to auto lay a proximity mine whenever you die. Do you know how many times I died to these fucking mines when I've killed somebody and I'm going to teabag them and they just blow up right in my face?
Well, maybe you should.
Dare they interrupt your teabagging?
Yeah, that's rude. Well, imagine what if you were teabagging them when you got blown up. Imagine what got blown up. That's very destructive. Sounds painful.
Eric, they also showed off some footage this week of kind of how they're using the eye tracking for gameplay. We wondered how they're going to adapt to moving from the aim controller to sense controllers, but still kind of keep that same gameplay loop, which made Firewall among the best, in my opinion, the best competitive shooter in VR for so long. And it looks like they're going to, at least to some extent, use the eye tracking for that. For example, instead of having the old grenade arc like we used to use with the aim controller, now it's going to be like gaze-based aiming for your grenade throws, almost like a aim assist.
I mean, this game is kind of made for the new PSVR 2 headset and the controllers, by the way. So, did they say anything about using the adaptive triggers? I didn't see that, right? Was there?
Nothing in this article, but yes, they will be using.
They will, right? They have to, right? So, I mean, think about all the different things that you're going to be able to do with this game that maybe you're not going to be able to do with the others. Like, I don't even know, like, because this game has to differentiate itself from like Pavlov. I mean, because that's got to scare them, But to me, Firewall, I am not a big Pavlov fan. I am more of a Firewall fan just because of the pace of it. I like a little bit better, and that's probably why I like Escape from Tarkov, probably why I like Ghost of Tabor. I am not a big, die as many times as you want and just keep respawning fan. I don't like that you don't have to worry about dying. I like that you have to worry about dying. And for them to differentiate themselves away from another game using adaptive triggers, using face haptics, using gaze-based systems, using what this headset has to make themselves special is going to be important. And I think it's also important that they get going here soon. Like, they need to get out here quickly, because if they get out soon, they'll be one of the only ones that's out there. And man, if you've never experienced a Firewall game, it plays unlike, I think, any other. It's more like a Rainbow Six type game. If you guys have ever played that,
or
that type of game.
Yeah, it's definitely a Rainbow Six clone for sure.
Yeah. But I think it's gonna be amazing. I can't wait just to look at this trailer. And although I am, if you guys are in the same boat, I am glad that they delayed it if they needed to. Like, if they launched and it wasn't perfect, oh fuck, man, that would just be a shitstorm in itself.
Yeah, I think lessons learned with the Solaris launch. While there was a lot to like with that game from the very get-go, the fact that it wasn't perfect, the fact that it had issues, kind of killed it. And you can't really have that when you're trying to launch a multiplayer game, which depends heavily upon having people in the lobbies at all times. Now, the good news is that here we are 5 years on, or maybe even 6 now. I think 5 years on from the original Firewall, and there's still people playing. There's still people in the lobbies. Just a testament to how good that game actually was and is. But Ruuts, when we look at Firewall Ultra, there's still a lot to be learned about it. But I think all indications here are that this game's going to be somewhere between a next gen refresh and a full blown sequel. My question to you is what would be your preference here? Does it bother you at all that a good percentage of the content in this game is going to be just stuff that's reworked over from the first game, revamped maps but still the same maps, revamped characters but still the same characters? Does that bother you at all?
It doesn't bother me. I mean, the game is amazing as it is, and that's exactly what Rainbow Six has done. And they'll just add on to it, add new maps over time, add new contractors or whatever. So
I agree with that. I mean, in a lot of games, that statement just on the surface would worry me, but not with a game like this, not with a beloved PSVR classic like this. I think, Eric, it would probably be disappointing if we didn't have that original content brought over to the next gen for all the people who have spent all this time becoming familiarized with the game, its characters, its environments. I think it would be more upsetting if they weren't doing it this way.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to bring a lot of players from the original into the new one, which would have been there anyway. But my biggest question is, do you think without the aim controller, which is the way that probably 90% of the first Firewall players play, do you think they're going to be okay with this new control system, which is not going to be an aim controller?
Now that's the question, man. That's the $25,000 question. And if you read any of like the content sections or some of the replies that they're getting on social media, that's the question everyone has is how is this going to work without the aim controller? Because the aim controller is such a big part of what made the first game so awesome.
I'd say it's a small part of what made the game awesome. The content, the actual maps, the way that the contractors, the Rainbow Six type of play is so much more than a peripheral. You know, people put too much stock into that, and the aim controller drift. And I just think that people are just going to have to find a different way to play it and get a gun stock and get over it. I think the game is going to be just as good, if not better. Well, it is going to be better. And I just don't think the aim controller was the game, you know. I just don't.
Well, it's going to be like everything in VR, right? There's going to be trade-offs. So obviously you're losing a lot of the awesomeness of the aim controller, but it's not like we're going to some generic ass controllers here. We're moving to sense controllers that, as Eric alluded to a moment ago, they have their own feature set, which is going to really serve to up the immersion in this game. Eric, I for one am just excited at the prospect of having that wider vertical field of view that so many of the reviewers were talking about this week. In a game like Firewall, that's huge, right?
Absolutely, it's going to look completely different than what you looked at through the original PSVR 1 headset. But I don't know. To me, it's going to be amazing with all the new stuff in it. But you're still going to have the core stuff that made Firewall great. Like we got in there not too long ago. What was it? Maybe like 3 months ago. Maybe we got in there. And I mean, just like 3 months ago, everybody got onto their old PlayStation VR 1s. I think it was me, you, and Ruuts. And I think it was Creeper Betty and Alex VR and Skiva. We all got in there and had a fantastic time for hours because of the game. I mean, we were using outdated hardware on an older game, and it didn't really matter because the game itself and the gameplay was so much fun. Like, we could have went into a million other things that would have been an easier entry. We could have went to contractors. We could have went to this or that and played and just had fun with each other. But we did it because it's a freaking great game. So there's just going to be so many more people now that can get into this game and enjoy it. And now with the upgraded features, I just don't see this one going wrong in any way.
I think Skiva nailed it. Aim controller gave people thumbsticks. Now the controllers have them. It's no longer needed. Over. Done.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm just happy that we're not going to have to turn the anti-aliasing off to be able to see people at distance. You have to choose. Do you want to be able to see, or do you want everything to be smooth? We're going to get the best of both with this next-gen version.
Yeah, I think people are going to be, because Firewall 0 hour, people never experienced it, especially the ones that don't have any other console besides the PSVR 1. Believe it or not, being able to actually grab a grenade with a different hand and throw it instead of hitting a button, it's better. And not like old Darth says, not having to do the waggle to get your tracking on track. The aim controller was amazing, but it had a lot of drawbacks, and you're not going to have those drawbacks. The difference is now you're just going to have that stability. You're going to have to get a gun stock like the rest of PCVR world or Quest. So
yeah, and I'm sure a lot of those button press interactions that we had in the first game, you're actually going to be able to use your in-game hands for now.
Yeah.
Like when you're disabling like the scrambling things on the wall to break the firewall down, or when you're disarming the laptop, you're going to be able to hopefully do that stuff with your own hands now instead of just walking up to it and holding X.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's trade-offs. I just think it's overall going to be a better situation. And somebody had said in there that they're sure that there'll be a new peripheral aim controller upon launch, and I am absolutely not sure that that's going to exist. It could, but I doubt it.
That would be great. That'd be great, but I do not expect it.
Yeah, me neither.
Speaking of Firewall, our good friend Roy Schwartz joining us in chat. Good to see you, Roy. I bet Roy is ready for some Firewall Ultra.
Yeah, that was his go-to, right? Firewall 0 hour.
Yeah. Spent many a games. I think I've played more Firewall with him than I even played with you or Eric or anybody. Anyway, super excited for Firewall when it releases later this year. Obviously, a lot more still left to learn with this game. So make sure you're subscribed and you hit that bell so that you can stay updated on the latest for Firewall Ultra. From Russia Blood to Switchback VR, Supermassive Games discusses leveling up on PSVR 2. This from the PlayStation blog, and actually written by Alejandro Arque Gallardo, the game director from Supermassive Games, which again is going to be joining us on VR CruCast tomorrow. Last year, we revealed that the Dark Pictures Switchback VR, a horror experience unlike any other, is coming to PlayStation VR 2 exclusively in the PSVR 2's launch window. Today, we're excited to share the wild ride that we've been on, from being the BAFTA-winning developers behind the hit PSVR title Russia Blood to developing a new and exclusive PSVR 2 title that puts you in the front seat on a sinister roller coaster from hell. So before we move on, Eric, we've asked a few different times since this game was revealed, will this game be an exclusive? Because this isn't a game being published by Sony Interactive Entertainment anymore. This is from a third-party publisher. So we wondered, could this possibly be a multi-plat game that's launching exclusively? And from the way that this opening stanza is worded, I'd say that this is going to be an exclusive. Sure sounds like it.
Yeah, which is still kind of a shocker. Like, but if Sony has money behind it, even if it's not even public, you know what I mean, then it makes sense. But otherwise, it is a bit of a shocker. But we know Sony likes their exclusives, and I mean, how many more copies could you sell if you could make this, possibly over onto the Quest or the PC? But
I would say dozens more, like maybe 2 or 3 dozen.
Just a couple, right? But yeah, I mean, think about that decision as a studio. You have to make those money decisions. Those aren't easy decisions to make. I don't care how much money that PlayStation put this in there, but if you have sometimes it's not even money. Sometimes it's relationships. And if you have a good relationship and they want certain things from you and you need to do things in the future, those affect your decisions. And you're right. The way that this makes this sound, it's probably only going to be a PlayStation VR 2 title.
You know what else can affect these sorts of decisions, Ruuts? Next-gen features. And as we're about to read through this article, we're about to learn that this is a game that was very much built around the PlayStation VR 2 and its unique features.
Yeah, that's it. Because like even the eye tracking, there's no other headsets out there besides the Quest Pro that have eye tracking, right? And so like, just everything. So it's just crazy.
Switchback VR is our first on-rails shooter horror game since Until Dawn Rush of Blood, which was an original title for PSVR in 2016. We remember Rush of Blood fondly, along with the community who, like us, remember daring their friends and family to try it as their first VR experience. Due to the innovative and immersive offering of the PSVR 2, the experience of Switchback VR has intensified since its predecessor, taking players for a multi-sensory ride through ghost ships, witch hunts, vampire nest, and a lair of a sadistic killer on a fast-paced horror experience. Here's how we use PSVR's immersive new features to elevate this experience. Don't blink. Using eye tracking, your enemies are upon you with the blink of an eye, with others that only move when you're not looking at them. Hold on tight. Endure every bump and drop as your car speeds along the tracks with haptic feedback, as well as the all-weather effects, including wind, rain, and sand that falls from the ancient Sumerian temples, bringing that true roller coaster feeling to life. Feel the tension. Discover and shoot crates around your environment and unlock powerful new weaponry. Adaptive triggers make each weapon feel unique, as they all have their own resistance levels. Get ready to unload on terrifying enemies that emerge from the shadows. Whether it's the revolver, the shotgun, Uzi, or one of the other weapons, don't forget to reload, otherwise your time on the ride can be very short. Mind your head. Avoid falling beams, overturned buses, and hanging witches. Headset rumble ensures that you'll feel it if you don't. Hearing voices. Listen to your enemies scream from all around you, and if you think closing your eyes is going to help, think twice. To heighten the terror, demons will whisper in your ear with 3D audio. It's your own personal nightmare where each track has multiple terrifying paths. No two runs will be the same. Do you choose to face demon dogs or masked mannequins? Do you choose to be an enabler of death or let someone live? Every obstacle will test your reactions in this terrifying, multi-sensory VR horror experience. The curator is watching, so choose wisely. So, as they so eloquently laid out here, Ruuts, again, this is a game, a horror game, a horror shooter, roller coaster ride from hell that was developed specifically with PlayStation VR 2 in mind. And I really think that this is going to be next level and take everything that we love about Rush of Blood and just turn it up to 11.
Yeah, absolutely. Tech is, I was going to type it in here, Tech, but he was saying it should be built around the yacht too. And I said, yeah, for the 5 people that own them. And he said, if I had one, I would understand how much fun it is. I don't doubt it's amazing. I'm just saying that it's so far out of the reach of anybody, the average person, that almost nobody has them. It would be amazing. And what's funny about this whole game is like what everybody is, well, a lot of people are so psyched about is the horror end of it. I could give a rat's ass less about that part. I want the roller coaster aspect of it and the shooting and all of that. And I think the horror will be fun. I'm not a big, huge horror person, but it definitely sounds creepy. I'm not too big on the demons whispering in my ears. I rebuke that in Jesus' name. But other than that, I think it's going to be an amazing game. It looks really cool. And I was a big fan of Rush of Blood 1. And I also share old Darth's hopes that the guy from the beginning, or from the first one, the Barker, or the whatever he's called, the carnival guy, I hope he's there again, because he was my friend, even though he misled me.
He does always mislead. This article makes me feel so much better, because were you guys a little nervous that they might, like, I don't know, vanilla this game out a little bit for the masses and not make it as scary as it could be, or something like that? Like I just had a little fear that like maybe with this one, because it's a launch, it was supposed to be a launch title, that maybe they weren't gonna like make it like as scary or as like badass, as not that badass, but just as like out of control as it should be and could be. I was just a little bit nervous, but it makes me feel better now reading this article.
I was. I forgot what I was going to say. You've been spending too much time in App Lab, brother. No, I was never nervous about this game, because I remember how the original Rush of Blood was, right? And it's funny, they talk about using it as an introductory experience for your friends and family. That's exactly what I did. It was the first game I put everyone in, even my children. And like it was so awesome. Even when it scared them, they would just like play it a little bit at a time, but they kept going back to it.
I just loved how the first one started out and how it seemed like it was just like this roller coaster ride where you're in a carnival shooting stuff, and you could trick somebody into believing that it's just that. And then all of a sudden things start getting weird, and then they're like, what is happening? And I had a lot of fun with a few people in that respect.
Eric, a lot of great content coming out this week on Switchback. We learned a lot about the game. First, there were a few content creators that got to publish some extended gameplay from it. Not the least among them, our friend Gamertag VR, who did a great video on it. But we got to see a lot of the game this week. And then the day after that, or maybe 2 days after that, Supermassive through PlayStation released their own gameplay walkthrough. It's another 10-minute video full of content, and they showed us a lot here. But what I really appreciate about is that we learned as much as they showed us. It's really just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more game here than there was with the original Rush of Blood.
Yeah, and I think you need a little bit more here too, with for depth wise, and because you don't want it to be just another shooter. I want something to it. And these trailers that they're putting out in gameplay that they put out are freaking crazy good, man. Like, I don't know if I could have been more excited for this title, but after like talking with GT and seeing what he had to say and seeing what Mike had to say and their experiences, and then seeing some of the trailers and gameplay videos they put out, holy crap, man, this game is going to be so good. Like, This may have moved west to like maybe my number one game I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, well, it's exactly what I was getting ready to say. I'm more excited for this game than any other now, because Ruuts, where Village is certainly going to be awesome, and there's going to be a 20-hour campaign with a lot of depth and replayability there. With this Rush of Blood sequel, which is essentially what this is, they're giving us 10 levels. They're giving us longer levels. They're giving us multiple branching paths with multiple endings. And there's like puzzle gameplay in this as well. It checks all those boxes we always talk about, Ruuts. What do you want to see from a sequel? We want more of everything. We want expanded everything. And that seems to be what they're delivering here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell the dev this tomorrow. My thing is I still want a remaster of Rush of Blood 1. I would love that because I love that game so much, and because it's such a janky experience. If I ever want to go back on the PS5, PlayStation VR 1, it's just doesn't run as good as it should, right? Like it's just issues. But I wanted a remaster, and I would love to still have a remaster.
I'd like to see, Eric. So there's 10 levels, right? And obviously they're mostly, if not all, based on the Dark Pictures anthology. Wouldn't it be cool if there was just like one level that was dedicated to Rush of Blood? There's like a Rush of Blood level in the game. That'd be awesome.
A hidden one.
That would be sweet.
That'd be cool.
I want to see the pig head coming flying at you. Pig head guys. What if they did DLC? What if it releases in the next month or so, and then like I don't know, 3 or 4 months, like around like November or December, we get DLC, and they give us either 5 or 10 of those levels.
That'd be cool.
That'd be great.
Would you pay for extra DLC for that?
God, come on, man! I'll pay for this to the end of time.
Come on.
But do you think people would though? Is Mike? I guess it's tough for us to say because of course we would, because we freaking love the game and it's crazy good. But do you think somebody new coming in just playing that game for the first time, you're like, I want to play. I need to play those first levels, and again, if anything is if people think something's profitable, they'll make it work and make it happen. So do you guys think that people would buy it?
I think they could $5 to $7 per level this to the end of time, and people would buy
you
it
think
every
that
time.
much? Wow, that'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome for them.
Yeah, I could see it. Now I don't know how their campaign how that would work in. I think that your structure is much more likely where they release like a story DLC that's like 3 levels, the structure of the game with self-contained levels certainly lends itself to DLCs. The only thing that might limit that is the fact that they want to stay inside their anthology here and keep basing the levels on their previous games. So obviously, if you do that, you put yourself in a box, and it limits how much content you can make from it.
I think we press him hard tomorrow. And if he's not thinking about it, we make him think.
Well, that's true. I mean, that's the thing. We can put it. We can place that seed in his head and just watch it sprout. Let's do it.
You know who loves it when you plant that seed, Ruuts?
My mom.
Oh, yeah, she does.
You know who loves it when it sprouts?
My mom.
She does.
Anyway, it's going to be an interesting conversation. Again, there's a link in the description below to the VR CruCast. You guys be sure to go over there and subscribe. It's going to be a great episode tomorrow. Look forward to meeting and talking with this game director for what is my most highly anticipated PSVR 2 game, and it's going to be a great time. Anyway, Ruuts, why don't we throw a bone to the PC crowd out there and start talking about something other than PlayStation VR.
Good morning and welcome to the Black Mesa Transit System. Now arriving at Sector C Test Lab.
Morning, Mr. Freeman. Looks like you're in the barrel today.
Welcome to the HEC mod.
Sustaining sequence. It's not shutting down. Look down.
At 9:47 a.m., a disaster has occurred at the Black Mesa Research Facility. A full quarantine has been issued for the Black Mesa area. System now under military command.
soldiers have arrived. They're coming to rescue us.
We should probably wait a while. Let things die down a bit.
The alien species can't possibly all be hostile, can they?
Don't bet on it. Do you have any idea that we're working on this kind of stuff? You don't still think this is a drill, right?
You must get to the Lambda Lab before it's too late.
It's time to choose.
Black Mesa VR mod for Half-Life Remake in development. This from mixednews.com. A VR mode for the highly acclaimed Half-Life Remake Black Mesa is in development. A video shows the current status of the project. Black Mesa has a 15-year development history and came out in 2020 with Valve's blessing as a standalone and paid game. The game convinced Half-Life fans and critics alike. Over 85,000 players left an overwhelmingly positive rating on Steam, and the game scored 84 out of a possible 100 on Metacritic. The development team left the story largely the same, but improved and expanded some aspects, including graphics, level design, and gameplay. Some changes were fairly large, as the trailer we just watched shows. The original 1998 game is already available as a VR mod for PSVR and MetaQuest 2. The enhanced edition of Black Mesa is not yet playable in VR. This could and will change. VR modder Ashok announced that he's working on a VR port of Black Mesa. Ashok is close to the Source VR mod team, which is responsible for the excellent Half-Life 2 VR mod. This project is unofficial, meaning it is not affiliated with either the team behind Black Mesa or the Source VR mod team. However, he has a lot of experience with Source VR modding and is the creator of a popular pack for the Half-Life 2 VR mod. The YouTube video shows the current state of the project. So far, the vast majority of the things work well, the video description reads. However, there are still minor issues with some performance elements. Currently, the VR mod is scheduled to be released at the same time as Episode 2 of Half-Life 2 VR mod. Episode 1 will be released on March 17th, but there's no known release date for the second episode. Black Mesa fans will have to be patient for the game in VR. Eric, what a time to be a Half-Life fan with a VR headset. I mean, not only did we just get the Half-Life 2 VR mod, the full official game playable in VR. It's like a native VR game, but episode 1 set to launch in just a few weeks. I watched Dr. Greg play some of that episode 1 earlier today on YouTube, and it was just friggin' phenomenal looking. But not only that, but now fans are going to get this popular retelling of the original Half-Life story in full VR around the same time that episode 2 drops. I mean, it's like a Valve fan's wet dream, isn't it?
It is, and you guys know, like I've played through most of the Half-Life stuff. This is one, Black Mesa is one I've never done. So this coming in VR for me, oh my God, I can't wait to do this. Like, there are people now today, like YouTube streamers, that will still stream flat Black Mesa. That's how good that fucking game is. And they get tons of people watching them do it. Now it's like all modded stuff in it too, but it's super cool. And now to have it in VR, I mean, we're getting some of the best games of all time now in virtual reality, especially with these Half-Life things. To be able to do Half-Life 2, Episode 1, and then eventually Episode 2 is going to be hugely amazing for people. And you know, that whole orange box thing, when that was released to the public, that was such a big deal. And to start to open these things up for more people, man, I am so excited for everything that is going to be Half-Life coming this year. And God, hopefully Half-Life Alex on PlayStation VR 2 also.
You know, Ruuts, every time we talk Half-Life modding into VR, you read the comments and someone's saying something about Black Mesa. This particular remake might be one of, if not the most popular of the original Half-Life content. And it wasn't even like original content from Valve. We've often kind of poo-pooed the idea of going back and playing the original Half-Life in VR because we weren't fans of Half-Life before. We didn't play it originally. All of my experience with Half-Life is in VR. But with that said, this is a complete revamp and remake with good-looking graphics and modern mechanics. I think this Black Mesa looks pretty cool, and I think in VR it'll look even better.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it'd be very fun to play. It's funny because as I'm watching everybody like all in the comments or in the chat like freaking out about this, I still don't have the hype that everybody else does, that Eric has, because I'm not a Valve fanboy, I'm not a Half-Life fanboy. I like good games or great games, and so I'm excited from that standpoint because the trailer looks amazing. But I have no expectations, you know, be completely fresh to me on every single level. And so for that, I get excited. But as far as the Half-Life world, I don't have the hype that everybody else has as far as that goes. I know that probably people are throwing things at their TV right now. It's weird to see so much hype around something because I was not a part of it and don't have that hype. It's just weird to kind of be outside looking in, right? I feel like I'm peeping in the window, and I apologize. I don't mean to be creepy, but but yeah, it's a weird feeling for me. Like it's just weird.
Eva says, I've played every Half-Life game flat and in VR from beginning to end. This and episode 1 and 2 will be the last. Again, I watched Dr. Greg playing some of the episode 1, and it looks like everything that we liked about the Half-Life 2 mod is in here, but it doesn't take so much time to get going. Like, it's balls to the wall from beginning to end. And they were giving away keys, man. 2 days in a row, giving away keys to this early access to this mod over on Dr. Greg's channel. And I tried to tag people in the Discord today. Hopefully some people made it over there to get their hands on the early access, because again, there's a lot of hype around this game and this franchise in VR.
Who's giving it away? Dr. Greg or the? Because if it's Dr. Greg, man, you were on our show, man. You should be giving us some keys anyway. But
no, developer in the chat watching the whole thing.
I gotcha. Yeah, no, it is exciting. And people are saying for shame, Ruuts. I get it. But no, I mean, it looks amazing. I like great games in VR, and this is just it's going to be another amazing AAA experience or game brought into virtual reality to make all the built from the ground up VR games look like shit. You know, I keep saying this, but developers, step up your game. And I know that a lot of developers probably hate me for saying that. I just feel like, at least in PC VR world, you're getting left behind by 15, 20-year-old games because their gameplay is so good and yours is so shallow. So
PD in the chat says Greg made a boo-boo yesterday and everyone who was watching the stream got a Half-Life key.
Wow. That's cool.
It's a happy accident.
I was gonna say that's a hell of a boo boo.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they gave away like 10 more of them today. So phenomenal. So everybody go check out Dr. Greg and yeah, man. I often ponder what's going to get me out of PlayStation VR 2. I'm about to start on it. Literally, the second half of the show today is me clearing my to-do list, talking about the games I've been playing, so I could go into Wednesday with a clean slate for PSVR 2. What's it going to be that gets me out of that? And I'm pretty sure, whatever it is, Ruuts, it's going to be a mod, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
In fact, if I had to bet, there's one game in particular that as soon as it gets its VR mod, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to drop everything I'm doing and run.
The environment wasn't like this before. New technology discovered. Augments my weapon with an alternative firing mechanism. This will be useful. acquired a xenotype weapon, similar to our carbine technology. Discovered a massive wall beyond which is the white shadow signal. I can't cross the chasm. For now, I'll change objectives and investigate the energy reading in the forest.
Scout log, Atropos. Who triggered the broadcast? Do you see the white shadow is something only I should know? And now, out of literally nowhere, I'm hearing it again. Were the sentients involved? But how would they have known? I need to believe there are answers at the signal.
Xenotype device acquired. I think this will prove a useful tool.
I have interacted with other versions of myself. But I worry one day I will re-experience these same interactions from their perspectives. But are they truly me? Or just hollowed corpses? This may be the face of things to come.
Played something recently.
Oh, we're on.
We're on.
Oh, damn. Oh, it's over.
So we did the whole segment while you guys were watching that footage, but we'll try to recap a lot of what we just said.
It was all good stuff, too.
It was good.
PSVR, hard-hitting sci-fi shooter comes to virtual reality. This again from mixednews.com. It's one of the most breathtaking and hardcore games Sony has ever produced. Returnal was released in April 2021 as one of the first exclusive games on PlayStation 5. On February 15th, 2023, PSVR gamers will also be able to enjoy the hardcore rough and tumble shooter, and not only that, a VR mod was announced right after the PC launch. Returnal made a name for itself after its launch on PS5, largely due to its high level of difficulty. It's not that hard, guys. It's not that hard. The third-person shooter challenges players with a roguelike system embedded in a time loop mechanic. Protagonist Celine returns to the alien planet Atropos after each on-screen death at the time of her arrival. Except for a few upgrades, all progress is lost. Players are only left with the knowledge of how to survive the randomly lined up level sections. In my review of Returnal, I died 1,000 deaths. However, my fascination with the stunning and mysterious atmosphere of Atropos remains to this day. Sony's exclusive development studio, Housemarque, has created a mesmerizing and deadly game world, reminiscent in design and atmosphere of Ridley Scott's Alien films. Now, PC gamers can dive into this world, and soon, Atropos will be explorable through VR headsets. The modders from Flat to VR announced a VR mod for Returnal right after the release of the PC version. Like the recently announced VR mod for Hogwarts Legacy, the implementation will be done with Praydog's upcoming Universal VR mod. Again, just as a side note, guys, I'm pointing out that these articles, they don't act like Luke Ross doesn't even exist. Anyway, according to the developers, almost any title created with Unreal Engine 4 or 5 can be converted to 6DoF VR. A first test video shows Celine in the unusual third-person view. The final version, however, the camera perspective will be freely selectable. Players will be able to move it closer to the protagonist or even play in first-person perspective. The extended field of view in VR could be a big advantage for gamers. In the arenas, you need to have an overview. Projectiles come at you from all sides, and you have to dodge them at lightning speed. As excellent as the fast gameplay is on conventional screens, it would be uncomfortable for inexperienced VR players. Keyword, motion sickness. You can control Returnal in VR with a conventional gamepad as well as with VR controllers. Mouse and keyboard are also supported. It's not known when the VR mod will be released, but it should not take long. Eric, this is, we talked about the last segment being Half-Life fans' wet dream. This is my wet dream. I cannot wait to play this in VR. And by the way, shout out to Paradise Decay, who's already playing this in full, beautiful 3D using Reshade. But I got to be honest, as tempted as I was to just go ahead and dive in and rip the Band-Aid off now, I'm waiting until I can be fully immersed in this world.
If it gives you any indication how much we all love this game, we talked about it the entire break while you guys were watching that video. So, and to the point that we almost missed coming back in. So this is a game that we all want to play in VR, and Wes finished it. He beat it, put over 100 hours into it. And me and Ruuts were pretty damn deep into it. And one of the only reasons I stopped is I really, really was hoping that we're going to bring it in VR. And it did seem like it was going to come that way. And now we're finally going to get it. And I don't know. I think from this video, man, it looks like it's going to be done right. We were talking about point of view and controls and things. And I don't want first person in this game, or at least give me the option for first person. But if they do it right, this game could be the game that gets me away from my PlayStation VR 2 for a while.
The only game that has had me put VR down for any significant amount of time in the entire 6 years that I've been playing VR. This is the only one. I stopped playing VR for a month and just played this the whole time. Ruuts, as much as we like to praise what we're seeing in this video footage, that video was literally a first run, a plug and play first run of the Unreal Injector mod with no kind of modifications, no kind of optimizations for this game. But what they're talking about here is what we always love to hear: options, options, options. You can back all the way out with the camera. You can get the camera close. You can go first person. You can play gamepad. You can play VR controllers. You can play mouse and keyboard. It sounds like the plans are for this one is to do it right.
Yeah, for sure. And to be clear, if you're using your VR controllers, you're still going to be using joysticks like you would your gamepad. It just won't be your gamepad. It'll be your VR controllers. And that's one of the things that I was saying. I don't necessarily think this game needs to be first person. I think it needs to be third person controls as it is, especially full motion controls. That I don't even know how you would implement that if somebody tried to do that. I know that's not everybody's dream. It's some people's dream, But the game is so amazing. It was built the way it is. I could see if you wanted to do first person, so you wanted to make it more difficult. Like if you're like just like some crazy Returnal Andy or something, somebody that's just like phenomenal at this game, that would be another way to play it harder. But I would say for most people, you're going to want as much distance as you can, because that article was right. There's so much going on. And it's one of those games that, like, there's so many things that are chasing you, bullets, as you're running through. Like, if you stop, you're going to die. So you can't even stop. You're constantly moving. Things are constantly chasing you. You're dodging them. And now you want to go in first person and not be able to see what's coming around you. It just doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't work. And people are going to realize that. But yeah, no, this game is the best game that I've probably played. And this is the thing that I would say to you, Wes, because you say this a lot, and I was thinking this when you said that this is like the one game that's got you out of VR for an extended amount of time, but it's also the one game that you actually allowed yourself to even play flat enough to have a chance for it to grip you. Like, you don't even look at most of these games that have came out, like flat games. I guarantee you, if you for whatever reason couldn't go in VR and that was the only way you would love so many flat games, you just won't give yourself a chance to even try it. But this one you did, and it gripped you, and it was like, there's just so many amazing. That's why I said I could never go away from flat games, because it's like it's cutting out 97% of the amazing games to play the 3% of amazing VR games that exist. And so it's just it's a weird concept, but I'm just glad that the two worlds are merging to where we can play such an amazing game in VR. And I'm with you. As much as the reshade is amazing, as soon as I saw that PD was doing that, I was like, there's no way I could do that, because I don't want to look at a flat screen in 3D. I did that with Spider-Man, and it was cool, but then I got into the mod, the Luke Ross mod, and I was like, wow, I'm in this world. There's a difference of being in the world when I can look around and I'm completely immersed in this world. It's different. It doesn't matter that it's third person. And I think people need to realize that, because there's so many games like this that would be so easy for somebody said in the chat that these gaming companies are they're leaving a lot of money on the table. And how easy would it be for them to just bring in a VR version of it, a mod or whatever, to allow you to play the game as it is? Just put me in the game, put me in this world, immerse me in the world, to where when I look up and I look around and I see the sense of scale of this world that Celine is in. This story is so amazing. It's one of the best stories I've seen in a game in a long time. And the gameplay loop, and this is the biggest thing that I keep griping on when it comes to VR versus flat games. This is what the culmination of all these years of gaming has brought to the table. This game, the loop, everything that draws you in, the story, the environments, the gameplay, it's all there, and that's what makes it so amazing. And now that it's in VR, it's going to go to another level. It's just an amazing experience, amazing game, and I recommend everybody try it.
It's immersive. It's immersive on a flat screen, and this is kind of why this game appealed to me, whereas a lot of the other flat games didn't. And I haven't played a lot of them on flat screens. That's true. I have played quite a few of them though through VR mods, and none of them quite gripped me like this one. This game was immersive through the flat panel, not only because of the massive world, not only because of the gripping story and the awesome gameplay loop, which never gets old. It stays fresh. But it was through the controller. It was through the special haptics that's built into the DualSense controller. And Eric, one of the amazing things about this game on PC is it fully supports DualSense and all of those features. So not only are we going to be playing this in our VR headsets on PC, we're going to be able to do it with that awesome controller as well.
And I'm 100% fine with that, by the way. I know everybody's like, I need to have, touch controllers, or I want, full hand support. I did the Harry Potter thing the other day, and I'm like, I wouldn't want to wave this wand 400 million times doing this. I would prefer just to sit there and hit the button. I'm sorry. But there are some things that you're going to do over and over and over again that you just want to relax. And I'm okay just sitting there with a gamepad. And if I can have that gamepad be a freaking, amazing experience with adaptive triggers and great rumble effects and just the controls that feel natural and feel normal, I'm fine with it. And if they do split it, and if it's just basically, touch control support where you have a gamepad that's just split into two, like like that, that's fine with me too. I can do it that way. But I think we'll have options, especially with a lot of these games. I think especially with Prey Dog, he knows that he can do it both ways. So why not give people the option to play it with a gamepad or play it with touch controllers to make you feel more immersed? That's cool. And then do the same thing with the views. Make it so I can look over the shoulder or draw me back away from it in third person, or give me first person if you want to play it in first person. Somebody said Risk of Rain in first person is doable. It shows you can do it. You can do it. And that's, and you can definitely do it. It's just maybe everybody won't want to do it. So the more options, the better. And it sounds like we're going to get.
But let's be fair, though. Returnal gameplay level is not Risk of Rain 2. No. You know what I mean? Risk of Rain 2 is an amazing game, and I love it. And it is Returnal-like, but Returnal gameplay, as far as skill and as much going on, is so much more than Risk of Rain 2. They're similar, but it's not the same. You know what I mean? There's so much going on in this game, especially once you get past the first couple worlds. It's fucking hard on a flat screen. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can't imagine trying to do it in first person. And let me throw this out there, Mash. Wes has not beat the game. He's beat the first round. Oh, really? The run round.
Oh, you're right.
I'll say when, because now
Spoiler
that it's coming
alert.
into VR.
You can do three. Yeah, you can do 3 plays through. Is it 3 playthroughs?
You have to fully beat the game. You're going to have to beat. It continues going. So.
Holy crap. Yeah. I think you're right, Ruuts, with the controls and with the views. And what Wes had said something during the break was, this is all going to depend on how they handle the dash and the roll. Because if you've played this game, they're huge integral parts of the game that you have no choice but to master, because if you don't, you will die very, very quickly. The dash and roll in this game is super important. Is it a roll, actually? I
think it's just a dash, but
just a dash.
Yeah, just the dash and the movement, because I should call it not a roll. It's a dash and a dodge, because you need to use the dash as a dodge to get out of the way of these attacks and to move out of the way of these things. So yeah, I mean, I think that is going to be the key. And if it's better implemented in third person than it is in first, can you imagine how maddeningly difficult or frustrating it's going to be if you use that dash, and how many times are you going to die by going off of the ledge?
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, and the more I think about it, to go back to what I was talking about a minute ago, how amazingly tactile the game is through the DualSense controller. It's not just about immersion with this game. The gameplay elements have specific feel. You can feel when certain attacks are getting close. You can feel it when you enter a point where you can teleport. You can. You don't have to watch the screen to see when your alt mode recharges. You can feel that in the controller, and with the adaptive triggers, like how far you pull the triggers will depend on which weapon that you're using. Like the game was actually built around that controller, and it's more than just about being immersed through the tactile feel of it, but gameplay elements are actually built into the haptics and triggers. I kind of feel sorry for anyone who plays it any other way, to be honest.
I think it would be weird, honestly. I think I'm going to have to. And this is the only thing that sucks about, or if you want to play with the PlayStation VR or PlayStation 5 controller, right, you have to have it hooked up with a USB, correct? If
Sorry,
I'm not mistaken.
I was reading the chat. What did you say? I was reading the chat.
The PlayStation 5, if you're going to play with that controller, it has to be hooked up USB, correct? You can't play it wirelessly and have the haptics, or am I wrong on that?
You can. I'm pretty sure you can just connect it through Bluetooth.
Okay. Well, yeah. That's nice. The way I'm going to be playing it. I can't imagine playing it any other way. Like Wes said, just all those different things make a difference when you know, just running over certain things, you can feel it, and you're like, okay, I don't know. So
yeah, you have to pair it with a USB cable, but after that, you can connect through Bluetooth.
Right, and once it's connected, yeah, I would absolutely do it that way. And I normally play, if I'm playing with a controller, I have like an Xbox Elite controller that I'm super used to. I've been using it for years, Absolutely love it, but there's no way I would ever even think about using that controller over one of the PlayStation 5 controllers.
Yeah. You
anyway,
might not have
the moral
to.
of this.
Well, never mind. I was gonna say if you're playing it in the PlayStation, like we were saying, cinematic mode, even right on the PlayStation VR 2.
Absolutely.
You know, Skiva in the
definitely will try
chat.
that.
Skiva in the chat asks Eric, do you think that Sony might do an official PSVR 2 version of this game?
Yeah, I mean, I've said it before. I cannot say who it was, but I spoke to somebody who is an influencer and content creator that had an early view of a demo version of the PlayStation VR 2, like super early on. And the demo that they did in that headset was Returnal, and that was like over a year ago for that
There
demo.
you go.
So
confirmed.
Why would I mean, even if it wasn't absolutely on their radar, do you think after this mod comes out, Sony's going to be like, if we have to put this in VR, like it's PC now, like I don't know, man, it's definitely exciting.
I mean, how big would your holiday season be if you could roll out this with with the first holiday season of PlayStation VR 2 and you roll out Returnal in VR?
They put this and God of War out. I mean, it's over, right? It's over.
I feel bad for Quest 3 at that point if they could do that.
Yeah. Paradise Decay in the chat says the controller even makes a sound when your alt weapon is ready, and you can feel the raindrops on the controller in the game, and it rains a lot.
Yeah, this game is amazing.
Anyway, yeah, this is probably going to be the one, right? This is going to be the one that actually gets me to put my PSVR 2 down and return to PCVR. Will that happen this week? Will it happen next week? Will it happen next month? I don't know, but I do know that I'll be playing it the day that it drops.
I foresee some West streams of Returnal in VR because like you're gonna want
flat.
Yeah, you're going to want excuses to play it anyway. That's a great way to get an excuse right there.
Streamed it flat on this channel. The only flat game I ever streamed on this channel that wasn't a VR. Anyways, that's extremely exciting. Almost as exciting as PlayStation VR 2. But that's enough looking to the future for one episode. As I mentioned a moment ago, we've got some things to get to get... we need to talk about what we've been playing, or at least what I've been playing. And there were things that were out last week, and there are things coming out this week. And I think that's what we need to turn our attention to now. District Steel is a full locomotion VR action game inspired by the first-person shooter classics. Blast your way through the underground Sentry facility equipped with a mechanical arm that gives time-bending powers and a selection of deadly weapons. Eric, this game has been in development for a very long time. Just now hit early access, and I need to point that out. This is an early access title on Steam. There's been a long-standing demo that's been available to play on Steam, but now we finally have a little something more to sink our teeth into. What did you think when you finally got to try out the early access version of District Steel?
Very cool, man. I liked it a lot. It's got a cool vibe to it. I thought it was extremely polished. Now, I did not play a ton of this game, but I did get through the whole tutorial with the movement and the speed and the gunplay and how you do everything, and I thought it was pretty damn polished. I think it looks pretty good. It plays really well. I'm interested to see exactly. I'm going to get in there more and see exactly what the gameplay is like like the campaign and what you're doing in here, and if there's progression and things like that. But from what I saw, Wes, I think there's a lot to like here. It doesn't seem like just another mindless shooter. I like some of the mechanics that they have, and man, you guys were on this way before me because I had never heard about this game. I didn't even realize there was a demo out there. So Ruuts said he had played a demo of this a long time ago, but I'm interested now.
Yeah, I didn't play that recently, but that's when I did play it, was the demo, and it was way back when, and it was really good. I recommend everybody check out the demo because it's free, and it's a good game.
Polished. I think polished is a good word to describe it. The developer obviously took the time to make sure it was right before he went into early access. Really, all we're waiting on now is more levels, but there's quite a bit here already. There's 7 levels. I played through about 3 of them. At first it comes off like it might be a pretty run-of-the-mill standard indie game FPS. It's an action FPS. It's an arcade shooter. But really it's in the mastery of the unique features of the game that really set it apart. Specifically the slide feature and the bullet time. I know, Ruuts, you've talked. We've talked a few times about the slide feature in VR games and how well it works, but how rare it is. I don't know if I've ever played a game with a better slide feature than this. You can literally squat and hit your dash button, and you'll just slide forever until you decide that you want to stop.
Yeah, who doesn't want to slide forever, right? That's definitely just movement in VR in this game is really good, and I guess it's got rocket boots, right? Somebody said to look up when you rocket boost.
Yeah. That's kind of what the jump feature is in this game. It's a dash, but if you look up, you dash through the air. It's a omnidirectional dash, and it'll throw you probably the equivalent. What would you say, Eric? 25, 30 feet in the air.
Yeah, and it's I like the mechanic of having to look up, and the higher you look up, it's like gaze based almost as how you jump, like how far, how you do it. So I thought it was cool, and you can really get air with it if you get it right.
Yeah, one of the cooler things about it for me as someone who likes to explore in VR is that there are hidden areas with like upgrades like ammo and health and stuff. It's a bunch of these little spots that are hidden throughout the game. And you know me, I like to, be thorough and gain an advantage for being meticulous. And this game does it, but it does it in a fun way because it's all about jumping and finding these little holes to get into. Again, I've played through a few levels of it, and it gets better as you go. I can say that definitively. It's a pretty standard structure for an arcade shooter. I mean, the levels aren't super long, 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 30 on some of them from what I've played so far. What it really reminds me to in terms of the vibe, not the gameplay, Eric, but the vibe is very But with the robots and the kind of abilities that you have and the unique movement, I do get a little bit of a Spire vibe from it.
Yeah, it does, and the way you move through, like the way that we said environments and the maps, from what I saw, early on, definitely remind me of that type of feel. Gunplay was really good too, Wes. I mean, everything felt good, like grabbing guns. Like sometimes they get it wrong, like holsters can be always screwed up. I mean, especially in early access, but it was real intuitive. Grabbing weapons, loading weapons felt pretty good. It wasn't super. was really, I think arcadey is a good word. The reload system is more arcadey than it is regular, but like a sim. But I thought it was cool, man. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, it's like you do have to manually reload your weapons, but it's not one of these deals Ruuts where if you drop one of your clips, you're losing your ammo. Like you have to grab a clip and put it in the gun to reload it, but you can just sit and throw your clips on the ground all day long and you don't lose one shell.
Yeah, that's the way it should always be. I like realistic, but like if it makes it to the point where you get penalized for dropping stuff in VR, it can become a problematic thing, right? Roy Schwartz wants to know if a 2080 Ti is irrelevant in 2023. I don't think it's irrelevant. What do you guys think?
No, that's a strong card, man. Like I'm sure, yeah, everybody's touting their super powerful cards that are out now. But I'd say, Eric, that most of the potential of the latest generation of cards is untapped by the games. Like you don't need a 3080 to play. I mean, Jorillo's still rocking his 1080 Ti and playing everything, right?
I think if you're in a higher 20 series, I think that's a fantastic card. Like right now, if you were going to build a PC and you were on a budget, I think you're absolutely perfect to get into like a 2080 or a 2080 Super, Ti if you can afford it. I think it's fantastic. You'll run everything. Like this, like you may not be able to run everything on like Ultra or Epic, but I mean you're going to be damn close, and you probably will run a lot of the more optimized games. You absolutely will be able to run them on those. Like I just gave up my 2080 Super, and so did Ruuts and Wes. You just upgraded too, and I upgraded because it was there and it was available and it was probably time. But did I really have to? I didn't really have to. I don't think you guys did either.
Yeah, it wasn't out of necessity. It was the fact that I was building another computer, and once you get into that kind of PC mindset of shopping for parts, at the time, 3080s had just dropped and they were affordable for the first time in years. So when I had the opportunity, I went for it. But no, I absolutely didn't do it out of necessity. And especially in VR, I think a 2080 Ti is a great card. Now, if you were playing a lot of flat games, if you want to really fully explore ray tracing, that's what the new cards bring to the table. But in VR, I mean, the VR barely taps into any of that stuff, or at least that's been the case so far.
I will tell you this. I just found out recently because I tried Fortnite for the first time with the new Unreal Engine and whatever they've done. And I was running everything, it automatically starts everything maxed out. And I was getting like 40, 50 frames or whatever it was. It was crappy. I had to turn stuff down. And Jim Hall said that it looks so good. They crank everything that the new engine is actually the 4090s. Can't have everything all the way turned up. And that tells you how good that game looks. It's crazy.
How not to place as a 2080 Super is like a PS5. That's absolutely true in terms of raw specs, but as we talked about last week, it's not a one-to-one comparison. It's apples and oranges kind of, because the console having the custom architecture gets more performance out of the same specs, but it is a good comparison. It's absolutely accurate. The processor in PlayStation 5 is equivalent to a 2080 Super.
Better than a 3090 Ti is what, with the optimization, right?
Confirmed
Yeah, confirmed here.
Oh man, PD wants to know, Ruuts, is Fortnite the new Crysis?
I don't know. With Crysis, was that a GPU killer? I don't know. It looked amazing, and all I know is that I on my 3080 Ti, I had to turn. Well, I don't know. I didn't tweak everything. I just turned my graphics from 2K to 1080p, and I turned from Epic to down a notch, and then I was able to get like 90 to 100 frames or whatever. But I need to go in and optimize it because there's no way I'm gonna play on my 2K monitor. You know what I mean? I'm gonna bust out my graphics. So, but it's definitely crazy.
Hussein X says things run even better on a Rift S compared to Quest 2 as well. That's true. I never PCVR my Quest 2 anymore. Never, ever, ever. I could do it wirelessly if I want to. I don't. I choose to go with my Rift S because I don't like jank and I don't like tinkering. And there's a lot of that with Quest 2. And even when it works, as Hussein X points out here, the performance just isn't as good because of, the whole encryption, decryption thing that Quest 2 has going on with PSVR.
That's why I was not upset about a wire for PlayStation VR 2.
Yeah, especially with mods too. Like I learned it, man, with that, especially with that Hogwarts mod. That is the perfect reason I probably should have a Rift S, because I had a nightmare with it with the Index and the Quest. Well, better with the Index, but the Quest 2, I could not play it with the link cable at all. It was almost unplayable.
Our good friend Alex joining us in chat. What's up, Alex? Good to see you, friend.
You missed our Firewall conversation, Alex.
Oh, I know. He's probably more excited than anybody.
Yeah, he's the Mr. Firewall.
Yeah, we led the show off with Firewall today, Alex. Firewall hype.
Can't wait. Can't wait to frag him in there.
Noel says, I'm running No Man's Sky VR maxed out with my 2080 Ti. That should tell you everything you need to know right there.
Yeah.
Technoglitch says, buying a 4090 just to play Fortnite.
There you go. Yeah. I want the 4090 Ti, though. Slumming it with a 4090, please.
So lots of PSVR hype returning to the chat as always, but I want to talk a little something different. I want to talk about something good on Oculus Quest. Do we have anything like that we can talk about, Ruuts?
Soul Assembly Studios presents Drop Dead, The Cabin. Buckle up, because a new type of terror is here. That's right, you went and got your ass lost in the woods. That creepy old cabin you thought was a great makeout spot? Well, that's just the start of your freaking nightmares. Welcome to the hardest night of your life. You need to tool up with some of these sweet-ass weapons, because you just unleashed a horde of mutant weirdos like it's Saturday night at the frat house. Just look at these freaks. Creeper, Shambler, Scuttler, Smasher, and Splatter. Holy! That one just blew up your face. So what are you gonna do? Roll over and die, you goddamn loser? I say absolutely hell no. Get up, power up, and bring the people's justice to this f***ed up forest. You want intensity. You want the fight of your life. You want frickin' insanity! Who doesn't want to save the world from a zombie apocalypse? You better make sure to keep that busted up generator fueled. Because when the undead come knocking, you better be ready to bring the pain! Ooh, that's gotta hurt. So bring a friend, bring some attitude, and bring your A game. Have you got what it takes to survive the cabin?
Drop Dead the Cabin is a thrilling and challenging co-op shooter. Eric, I would say that this headline here from Upload VR is wholly accurate, including the challenging part. Like this thing is tough, right?
Game is hard, man. You don't usually see these games like these difficulty levels. Usually they don't want to put these difficulty levels on like a Quest game just because you're getting a more casual audience. This game's freaking hard, man, and this is what jazzes me up about a game like this. Like, I want these games to be hard. I don't want it to be easy. I don't want it to be a walkthrough. I want it to be challenging, and I want to get in there and, like, I want to get in there and run around like my fucking hair is on fire, and that's what you need to do in this game. It's frantic, crazy action, and it saves this game and makes it freaking great.
Ruuts, the way that this game is structured is you're in the cabin, and you're kind of defending it, but it's just the central area of a much larger map. There are a lot of other areas that you need to go into, and the concept here is that you have to find fuel to run your generator, and you have to keep your generator on so that you can broadcast your coordinates to the party that's going to rescue you. So the whole gameplay loop here is exploring the map, finding the fuel for the generator, but it's not that easy because everything is locked off. And the only way that you can get to the different areas is by spending research points. And the way you get research points is by killing zombies and monsters. Beyond that, beyond just the sheer battle and exploration, just because you put the fuel cells on the generator doesn't mean that it's going to run, because the zombies will knock it out. The battery that the generator charges they damage that as well.
Oh, wow.
So what really kind of sets this thing apart, even though you can play it by yourself, you really need a team. You need a guy watching the generator. You need a guy watching the battery. You need a guy exploring and a guy defending the cabin to get anywhere in this game. Again, kind of a deep and challenging gameplay loop, almost reminiscent of old school games.
So is there 4 people? You just described 4 things. You need a guy for 4 things, but there's only 2, right?
You can play up to 4 in this, can you not?
Wow.
I know it's only 2. It's only 2.
It's only 2? I
Yeah,
thought
it's
this
only
was 4 player.
No, that would be good. That'd be like Left 4 Dead, man. But yeah, this is only 2-player co-op. But
Boo!
I don't know. I think it makes it more hectic. Like if you had 4 people,
for
in
sure.
here, it would be too. It would almost be too easy. Like the like you played it solo. Which is I don't even know how you did that. Like I don't even know how you made it. Like how far
That's
you made it.
West,
Like
dude.
as
He's a
solo
crack
because
shot,
it's so
bro.
fucking hard. Like even with 2 people, when I say running around like with your hair on fire, it is so hectic. There's no way you can cover every angle, and they're coming at you from everywhere. That's when you're inside the cabin. When you get outside, they're everywhere. And if you had 4 people, it wouldn't have the same feeling to it. I don't know. It's like some of those games that we always ask for multiplayer, and you're like, well, that one doesn't make sense because if you had 2 people, it just wouldn't be the same. I think it's the same thing here. I think if you had more than 2, I think it wouldn't be the same. I think it really relies on being a 2-player game.
Now I'm scared because I was thinking the whole time I'm playing, like, when I get my crew in here, we're going to be able to handle this. Like one other person, that does not seem like enough. Ruuts, you start out in the cabin and you're locked in. You have to get research points before you can even get outside. And the way this thing is structured, it's a 2-story cabin. Each floor has about 6 to 8 different windows that zombies are coming through.
Oh, geez.
They're literally coming from everywhere, and they're not slow plotting zombies. They're fast.
Can you board up the windows?
They start out boarded up, but after they break it down, you can't rebuild it.
Oh god.
At least I haven't seen the ability to do that yet.
Yeah. You finished. PD's right. You finished Returnal. You're the Chuck Norris of VR, Wes. If anybody can do 1 person, it's you. Yeah. No, this is the thing. You want. I can't stand, even in watching movies, slow moving zombies. Like what was that? Dawn of the Dead or whatever with the mall and stuff was one of the first ones I saw where they were just like fucking running and stuff. And I thought that, to me, that's a lot scarier than this slow moving thing. Although The Walking Dead, did a good job of numbers being the problem, right? It was like, 1 or 2 is no big deal, but when they get into a group, then things get crazy. But now you got a group of fast moving zombies, makes even things more sketch. So this definitely looks really good. Although for some reason, and that when we get to the, I guess I'll preemptively do this before we get to the wish list. But people go wish list this thing. Somebody said the reviews are lackluster. Well, that sucks, man. Like if it's this good of a game, because I haven't had a chance to get in there, then people need to know. So.
I would have probably gotten into it with one of you guys this week had I known it was just 2 players. I've been kind of waiting to when we're all available, but apparently that don't matter. Boo. Eric,
it's fun, man. It's fun.
One of the things I really appreciate about this game is it being built with Quest 2 in mind. They very expertly kind of craft the way the game looks around the abilities of the Quest. So, while you may be dealing with limited processing power in terms of graphics, the fact that it's perpetual night, the fact that everything kind of has this glow to it, this bloom effect, it's actually a pretty good looking game for a Quest game, isn't it?
They made it the perfect way for the Quest. Like this is like if you're trying to work around graphics and fidelity, this is the way to make it. Like you don't need to try and make everything look like Red Matter. If you do what you're doing well and make it cool looking, it'll be awesome. And they do it here. They do it with a lot of color off of dark backgrounds, like you said, because it is dark. The zombies themselves all have each individual little glow parts to them, so you can see them really well. They stick out well. The guns look good. This is more along the lines of like a Zombieland Headshot Fever look to it. So this is not Walking Dead, right? I mean, but again, it's not supposed to be. This is supposed to be a fun, get in with your friends, run around like crazy, laugh, have a good time. This isn't like something you're going to, play for 10 hours. This is something you get in for a couple hours every day or every other day or once a week or whatever. Get in there with somebody and just have a great time with a game. Again, it doesn't take itself too seriously is how I should say it.
No friendly fire, right?
No.
Okay, good. God. You played with Todd, right?
Thank God, he would have killed me like every time. Yeah.
Did you get a chance to try out the EMP ability?
No. It's expensive. It's like 60 points or something like that, I think, isn't it?
No. My playthroughs, the disc was just laying there. You put it into the disc drive and you hit the button. The only caveat is you have to do it while the power's on, which for me was most of the time the power was off. So, I was just kind of wondering what that does.
I saw it over there, and I thought you had to like buy it or purchase it, but apparently I saw the disc sitting there, and I never put it in the thing.
Yeah, you just pick it up and put it in the thing.
I would be reluctant to use it if I wanted the power to work again. If it's like a real EMP, you don't want to fry it, right? You want the power to still work.
Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking it's for, and this is just pure speculation. I never hit the button. I tried to, and the power went off right as I was hitting the button. It kind of sucked.
Oh, wow.
But the whole premise here is that you're in a training simulation. Like even the zombies aren't really real zombies. It's all supposedly computer generated. So I'm thinking if you hit that EMP, it just completely flatlines everything that's coming of it. Yeah.
Probably. Well, if it's not real, then why are we scared? Like it's not real.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I mean,
stand there.
Get in there and you'll see. Get in there and you'll see why we're scared.
Well, that's like the whole the kind of cool thing about this kind of plays off the backstory of the original game, which is Drop Dead Dual Strike, and how that's set up in the protagonist in that game. This is like before time. I think it's before Drop Dead is the way it's kind of set up. So if you've played that game and you know a little bit of that story, this will very much give you the some more story to that, which is cool. But you don't have to. You don't by no means do you have to know the story to have fun here.
You know who I want to play with, Eric? I made a point to make sure before I stopped playing that I beat your score and I beat Todd's score.
I know who you mean.
I came nowhere near touching where D's at on the leaderboard. D must be an OG in this game.
Yeah, I mean she's been playing with like GT for a while, like a couple of months. You know what I mean? And she had access to this game early too, and she loved this game, and she's in there and she was just killing everybody. I mean, I don't even know how she got some of the scores she's got. Like, I'm not even close to some of the scores that she has. So
yeah, me either.
But yeah, I'm such a leaderboard chaser. I may have to get in there and see if we can. Maybe me and you have to get in there this week and see if we can try and beat some of those.
Just knock her down, dude. Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
I think my high score,
she's better than us?
I think my high score was around 1,500 points. I think D's is like 11,000 or something crazy.
I think 13. Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was like 13,000. I saw on some score she had. Crazy.
Spry says D cheats.
Nice.
So I'm playing with D. That's the moral of the story. That's
yeah. All right, me and Ruuts will go up against Wes and D. Let's go.
Yeah, we got this.
We'll see whose score we can beat.
Yeah, it is a great game. It's really fun. Even a lot of people look at the challenge as a negative. That's what drives me on, spurs me on, want to play more because I want to get better at it. I played some good games this week. This is probably the best game I played this week. I had a lot of fun in this one.
You know what I want to get into, and we went into it a while ago, and we talked about it recently. Maybe getting back in there. We need to get into some Left 4 Dead, the Left 4 Dead mod, because
yes.
Yeah, I love Back 4 Blood. It's one of my favorite experiences of gaming that I've ever played with my friends. Is the Back 4 Blood with Mash and D and Tech and everybody that played with us. And I think being able to play a game like that in VR, and I think that was probably my biggest letdown of After the Fall, because I love Back 4 Blood so much. I wanted exactly Back 4 Blood in VR, and it was like Back 4 Blood-ish. And so I want to play like legit Left 4 Dead in VR.
It's there. I did it like I told you guys we need to get in there, and I did it like a week and a half ago with me and Todd and Tribe Grey Wolf and Skiba did it, and it's nowhere near what we did like 3 or 4 maybe 5 months ago. Ruuts. I think we me and you and Techno Glitch got into like the mod originally. I don't even know if it was the same mod, but that was terrible. Not terrible, but it was just super janky. Like we never went back. It wasn't that good. This is it was probably one of the most amazing things I've done. It's Left 4 Dead, but today's graphics. It looks so good. It's not like older graphics. It's like all updated. The controls are fantastic. It plays perfect, and you can mod the piss out of it and put all new weapons in it, whatever you want. Like Tribe Grey Wolf has a whole set of mods that he can download with you, and you'll have just amazing stuff. It's so cool.
That'll be awesome. I'm down.
After the PSVR 2 train slows down and we get back to doing our mod of the week again, I'm sure this one will be high up on our list.
Absolutely.
Anyway, that's going to wrap our headlines for the week. But we do have one more game to talk about because, let's get into our reminders. Of course, we're going to kick off reminders with what's out this week. And everyone knows what's out this week, right? We could do 10 hours on what's out this week. We're not going to talk about any of that any more than we already have. But for those of you who are gaming exclusively on Quest, there is something coming out this week that you might want to check out. Mixture releases February 23rd for Quest 2. So this Thursday, the day after D-Day, Quest players are going to be blessed with a new title to play. And good news, Eric, this one's not so bad, huh?
This was great, man. This was great. I actually played this game first in PAX West last year. They had a demo of it on the show floor, and man, it was really, really good. And then got a chance to play it again, this past couple of weeks. And man, this is a fantastic game. This is a game that it's a different game, Wes, than you're gonna see on most. It's different than any most games you get. It's tough to describe this game. Like I said, we described it almost like a Moss type game, but it's more than that. But it's just different with the movement style and the way you use the potions and the mixtures. It's just super cool.
Yeah, you can tell that there's a lot of inspiration being taken from Moss here, a lot of similarities, but it is far from the same game. So, of course, it is that same kind of dual character setup that you have with Moss. So you're controlling the third person small character through the world, and you yourself play another character. And this one's a little bit more hands-on than the reader is in Moss, because not only are you making decisions and solving puzzles, but you're actually, through your alchemy, are part of the battle as well, right?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. What if I don't want to help this little guy? That's a lot of work, man.
Well, Eric can attest to it. I don't think your character really does want to help it. There's a contentious relationship. You're not besties. Like you're constantly quipping back and forth at one another.
You're almost like stuck with each other. It's not like the reader where you're like a passive trying to like high five and your cute little quill. This is more like you're kind of stuck with each other and trying to work through this thing together.
Yeah, you're kind of a prisoner of like an ancient war, to say, without giving too much of the story away. Like you're kind of captive to the little one as opposed to vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
Um, So it's structured similar to Moss in the fact that you're moving through the levels in very much the same way. This one, though, a little bit more action focused than Moss. It's the same kind of hack and slash combat, but it's expanded, right? You have a larger move set, and again, you as the first person character are becoming actively involved in the battle by throwing projectiles at the enemies that slow them down or give them other properties that you can then take advantage of as you attack with the smaller moth character. Ruuts, one of the things that I think you'll enjoy about this is as you get on in the game, it becomes a little bit less about the combat and a little bit more about the puzzle solving and the platforming. These as you get on a little bit in the game, it becomes a little bit more involved just to make your way through the levels as the levels become more vertical and you start climbing up through the levels as opposed to moving through them.
Oh yeah, I love platforming. That's awesome. That gives you a little bit more to do just besides, like you said, puzzles and slashing and hacking. And it sounds like it's got a good like story hook. So definitely sounds really cool. And you said this comes out this week, right? I guess Thursday.
Yeah, that's right. It comes out this Thursday. Very heavily story driven, Eric. A lot of reading though, right?
Yep, it's gonna be a lot of reading, but it's not like overpowering where you have to you're like, oh my god, I got to read again. It goes pretty well, goes pretty smooth, and yeah, I like it a lot. What did you think about the movement, Wes? Like the ways you had to the interesting ways it made you move around the environment, especially when you're moving vertically, because there's no jump button, but you have to move vertically quite a bit.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate it so much at first when early on the game is very combat oriented, and I really missed the jump feature during those sections. But as you play on through the game, I kind of understand why they made that decision. So there is a lot of jumping and vertical movement, but the way it works is you have to make your way onto these certain platforms that kind of throw you in the air, and then you glide to where you need to go. And this mechanic is central to the puzzles that they set up in this game. So like a lot of the puzzling you're doing is releasing platforms, opening portals that throw you into the air, and you kind of have to do it in a certain order. So I get it after a while, but it took some getting used to, especially at first.
Yeah, even the boss battle, you have to do a lot of movement around where the boss's attacks, and you're constantly having to figure out how you can move through the environment, and it's a challenging way to do it. That's why I said this game is kind of unlike any other game that you can think of, because they actually make the controls and the movement through the environment part of the challenge and part of the puzzle, which I can't think of another game that kind of does it that way.
Yeah, certainly. When you think about VR, there seem a little bit fewer and farther between. What do you think about the art style and the graphics in this game? Certainly, you know that you're playing a quest game, but much like the last game, that they do a good job of working around that to provide a beautiful world for you to make your way through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this isn't we compared it to Moss, and this isn't Moss, so we'll say that.
No.
And then this isn't a huge team behind this game either. And I think they did extremely well for an indie developer to make a game that is freaking beautiful on a platform that is a mobile platform. And this is a gorgeous game. It has great environments. It has a lot of color and a lot of flair to it. The characters and the animation and then the bosses look really awesome. Cool. Yeah,
the bosses are cool. Huge. They're like, so you're basically playing through a world of miniatures, but the bosses are gigantic and certainly very imposing and impressive.
It's really good for a sense of scale.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's not like you're playing Returnal and things are like towering over you, but compared to like it's like the bosses are like your scale, like you're that much bigger than the character. The bosses are like your size.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I would say that for those of you that like a narrative-driven hack and slash adventure, you've got a good one here to look forward to. Just keeping in mind that it takes a little bit to get used to the movement, and obviously, as Eric pointed out, this is from a smaller team, so like there isn't narration. It isn't like super detailed graphically, and it starts a little slow. It takes a little while for the game to get good. But the good news is that it does get good, and there seems to be a pretty good amount of content here. Like I've put a few hours into it now, and I'm really just getting started on it.
Well,
I don't think this is a short game for sure.
What's the cost on it? Or do we know?
Just a second. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Well, while you're looking it up, I am a leprechaun. Was asking about joining our chat in the thing, and I don't know that there's anybody that's actually came on and said, "Hey, can we join the chat or the conversation that we've brought into the actual show?" Except for sadly, it's Bradley. That's the only time can ever think of somebody just suddenly jumping on here. But I think everybody in the chat is exactly right. You join by chatting here, subscribing, and he made a good point, or they made a good point. We don't have a membership. Is that something you have to do special to get that, like join the member, that type of stuff with YouTube Mash? I know you guys have it on yours, I believe.
You can do that. I've always kind of hesitated because you want to give some people something for doing that, right? Like if people just want to support, they can support
through Patreon
just by super chatting or joining us on Patreon. I just haven't come up with a good idea yet as to what to kind of do for people who
well, then they could join in the conversation. They could jump on the show. Yeah. Oh, I don't know how that would work. That would be really weird for me. That would be hard for Ruuts.
The members cool. The members are cool because you can keep the entry level of how much for those things fairly low, because you do get a nice cool thing by your name. So your name is colored, whatever color, like we would choose color for Virtual Strangers, and then you would have a whole bunch of emojis that would be just that only you could use, and you could make whatever emojis
special
you want.
Emojis.
So it gives you like a little bit, yeah, like ours. When you comment for ours, your name shows up green, and you have a little Q2C thing that comes, our colors, and it says Q2C right after the name. So it's just kind of a cool thing. It highlights you if you're chatting in the stream. And then like I said, you get a whole bunch of cool emoji. You could get a Ruuts emoji where he's like this.
Yes,
with no beard.
Yeah, well, we needed to get the beard things. And Tech said he did. That's not true. He did asked to come on, and we said F you. Well, techno glitch. We love you, Tech. And Z-Storm Gaming says, "What's up, nerds? What's up, Z-Storm?
What's up, nerd? Are we getting into Ghost of Tabor after this, Z-Storm? So Z-Storm, I got to tell you guys, Z-Storm has a video dropping tomorrow afternoon. We'll give him a little plug because he's been working on this thing forever. Guys, he has got a video of 100 days in the game Raft.
Oh my God.
Dropping tomorrow at noon. I don't know what like time zone that is. Is it noon Eastern or Pacific or Central or Mountain or whatever? But can you imagine he did 100 days in Raft?
That's crazy. Well, yeah. That's what a good idea, Z-Storm. That's why your channel is. That's why you're doing so good, man. Great idea.
I'm going to do 101 days in Kayak VR.
Oh my God! I could do 101 hours of sleep in Kayak
101 days in Kayak VR, and it would be you after about an hour and a half. It'd be you of just going around the same areas,
God.
Right?
Yeah, well, be me sleeping, like you said. That was my plan.
Taking a big snooze. Yeah, for sure.
I can't find a price for this game. I don't know how much it's going to cost.
Yeah, and I have a press kit somewhere that probably says that, but I probably can't find it right now.
I just looked through the press kit. It's not in there. Yeah,
well, then everybody needs to go to Z-Storm VR right now, his channel, and subscribe, because you don't want to miss this. It's not just this, man. It's like one amazing idea after the other. This guy has got something going here, and you want to be a part of it. So check him out.
Hell yeah. He did 100 days in the forest.
Yeah.
That was too funny.
Yeah, I couldn't
so good.
imagine that. The Forest VR, as cool as it just was too janky for me. Now
I'm
it
gonna do
might be
100
better
days
now.
in Ghost of Tabor. I'm gonna do 100 days in Ghost of Tabor.
Yeah, well, hey, there you go. You
You
go
do.
in, you start out with nothing, and then when you come out, you might still have nothing because somebody might have killed you and taken your shit.
Exactly, or they wipe you because they're gonna wipe just like Tarkov for its.
Yeah, oh, are they
We
really?
do,
Are they doing wipes? What a smart idea.
You have to. I think with these games, you have to. Like, we always were nervous about wipes, but I think it keeps the interest in these games. Like, how many streamers do you think stream Tarkov, and then by the time they're 3 or 4 months in, they start streaming something else because they're bored with it, and then they all come back after the wipe.
Yep. Yeah, and they're still
gonna
adding
do,
stuff. They're still adding maps. I mean, that's the thing about Tarkov is it's not even done. It's not even close to being done. I mean,
And that's
they've been
been
working
5
on it
years.
for 5 years, and it's just crazy to me.
I'm going to do 100 days in What the Bat.
Yes, there you go. And
that
Wes is gonna come
would
out.
be my hell. That would be like, yeah, that would be awful.
How about 100 days in what was that sailing game? You can take the
Marine
test.
Verse.
Yeah, you'd be
Oh,
you
yeah.
could pass a test after 100 days. I guarantee you.
Yeah, but I think
Absolutely.
you're probably right. Anyway, this thing is rolling off the rails quick, so let's move to our next reminder. This is the part of the show where we ask all of you to take a moment to please join us as we click a few things and wishlist the game to support these awesome developers out there who keep bringing us these games. And we've got some good ones to pick from this week. We've got Drop Dead, we've got Mixture, we've got District Steel.
I'm going to do District
I don't
Steel.
know. I think that's a smart one.
I am going to do Returnal.
Oh my God. What an amazing game.
I as well am going to steal Mash's idea and go wishlist Returnal.
I'm doing it right now. It's $59.99 now. It is added to my wish list.
I've thought about picking it up
steal.
a couple times because I still have $18.32.
Ooh.
That when Scion gifted you guys the game that I already owned, he gifted me money, and I'm still been waiting for the right game to spend it on.
I just wish listed it on the Virtual Strangers account.
I was about to say, man, I looked and it was wish listed. And I'm like,
well, I was in District Steel.
that?
I was playing District Steel before the show, and I forgot I was logged in. So now I have to log out and log in.
Here's a little secret. I think it's in our shared library. You don't have to log in to play it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, because it's out now. It's out. So
right, that's true. That's true.
Anyways, Returnal is the winner this week. I can't wait to play Returnal. Let us know what you wish list in the comments down below. And that brings us to our third and final reminder this weekend, every week, and that is how you can do your part to support our channel, help us grow, and join our community. Of course, if you haven't already, please consider clicking that big red subscribe button and ringing that bell. That will allow you to stay up to date with all the latest content as we go live this Wednesday and kick off the next era for VR. I can't wait. Please, we want to bring you along with us. And the easiest way to do that is just by clicking the things.
Couple clicks.
Of course, just a couple clicks. That's all it takes. Click this, click the red one, click the bell, and we're good. And you guys have been really good about doing that lately. Our growth rate over the last 3 months has been way more than what it was prior to that. And it's all because of you all sharing, clicking the stuff. And we very much appreciate it. But of course, if you'd like to do a little something more, you can do so by supporting us on Patreon, where all we ask is $3 per week, and we will give you access to our weekly show notes. You'll get insider updates. You'll get exclusive content, all for less than $1 per week. And you get to sleep well, knowing that you did your part to support us and what we're doing over here. And then last but not least, of course, if you don't have any money, that's fine. You don't need any money to join us on Discord. You'll find an invitation link down below. This is our community. It's where we live. When we're not on the air, we are on the Discord, talking about VR gaming and many, many other things. It's a family atmosphere, and we invite you to become a part of that family right now. And I think that's it. And with that said, friends, I'd like to thank you all once again for watching. For Ruuts and Eric, I'm Wes. We'll see you next gen. Bye.
I hope I'll see you next gen.
Take it easy.
See you later.
Should have got the big screen.